Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network and a very special edition of Friends of Best Ball. This is the happy hour edition, and we've got two great guests, two live drafts, and we'll be doing it in just 1 minute. That's right. Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friends of Best Ball. Happy happy hour. And yeah, I am super excited to kick off Happy Hour Friends of Best Ball with the great Neil Orfield. Neil had me on his channel, I believe, last month, and we're running it back here and doing a BBM draft together. So Neil, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah. Excited to be here. I've got, I was just telling Meg before the stream started, I couldn't find a single beer in my house. I played some disc golf a couple days ago, put 6 beers in a cooler, brought them for the group I was playing with. And then I had one left for last night. And apparently I'm completely out of beer now. So I'm drinking an Orchard Blend hard cider, which I've never had before.
Tonight. Okay, I like a cider. Actually, I can't touch. For some reason, beer grosses me out. I age, doesn't do it for me. Love ciders though, so I love that you have an Orchard Blend. Will you talk about drinking whiskey? I've seen you drink some whiskey. What's your favorite whiskey? What's your favorite? whiskey?
I drink a lot more bourbon than
bourbon. Yeah, bourbon whiskey. I like bourbon better too. Yeah.
And I don't know if I call it my favorite, but my go-to is Maker's Mark. Like if I'm out, I just always order a Maker's on the Rock. That's what I usually am drinking at home. So I guess I'll call it my favorite. That's kind of my comfy bourbon is Maker's when I go out.
Okay, so I was joking with Neil before stream that I'm like a country music song. I either like whiskey or wine. I love champagne, but champagne, whiskey, wine, maybe a martini. So I'm drinking a whiskey it's a bourbon, and it is. And my parents sometimes watch my shows. It's not this. It's a light pour. This is all ice, basically. Don't think that I really poured it up to here.
Got to give that caveat. I give the same caveat when I have a big pour.
Yeah, it's a solid pour, but it's one of those ginormous sphere ice cubes surrounded by ice. Because I'm with you, it's got to be on the rocks. I'm not a neat girl. So bourbon and mine. Yeah, Basil Hayden is my favorite. So
I like Basil Hayden. Nice.
Okay, so cheers. I'll have
cheers.
And cheers to you guys in chat. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Say a quick hi. This is Tyler, who's joining us at 6:15 for part 2 of the Friends of Best Ball Happy Hour. Of course, we got our guy Spread in chat. Murray Lime, good to see you. This guy Neil looks familiar. And King of Kings, we love always seeing him in chat and in drafts as well. So hopefully we get to see him in the draft streets as well when we get started in a minute here. But first, just a couple quick questions for you. I like to ask just some quick, fun kind of state of best ball questions for you. If you don't know already, first of all, you need to be following Neil on Twitter. The handle for you, Neil, is in the link in the description. But the handle on Twitter is on YouTube is at Flannelverse, and Twitter is at Player. What is it?
Player QDFS.
Player QDFS, because obviously we know Neil from DFS as well. And then yes, Flannelverse in the YouTube streets. If you don't know already, and if you're watching this, you probably do know that Neil is streaming all 150 BBMs. And I know you and Peter Overzet, you are the oldest to stream, but I know you're not old, but you have outaged, I guess, Peter Overzet. So you're the oldest man to stream 150, right?
That's the goal. I'm through 68 so far. I'm trying to get through 150 so I can claim to be the oldest person to ever stream all 150 of my Best Ball Mania drafts for a season.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. You're you're well in pace. You said 68.
Yeah, 68 through. I'll be more than halfway probably next week. So I think I'll get there easily. And if we do get to the point where BBM is going to fill early, which is a threat, I think at this point, I'm just going to have to do some marathon streams, which don't mind doing that.
Yeah, I was going to say there's the first question for you is of the kind of other flagship tournaments that Underdog has, because obviously they've got BBM and then they've got the marathon, the sprint, the weekly winners, the eliminator. What is your favorite outside of BBM?
That's a good question. So I do stand for weekly winners. So I would love to say that just because a lot of people don't seem to love weekly winners. And I do think that there is actually pretty big edge there. But if I'm being honest, I think it's probably actually the eliminator. I do actually prefer it somewhat, just because to me, it's more of a fun sweat. Like weekly winners would be fun if I ever was in like the top 100 and had a player remaining. No, it could be a very fun sweat. It is nice to have there to always have teams to check in weekly winners, but ultimately you get late in the season with the eliminator, it's pretty damn fun to just like, okay, this is all I need, to get into the top 6 or whatever. It is a very fun contest. So I kind of stand for all of them, but I would probably say the eliminator is my favorite.
The eliminator. So I assume you did well in the eliminator last year, because I did not.
No.
So but I want to give it another try this year.
I didn't do so. I did very few in the eliminator last year. I did have one that got kind of far, but then I ended up having no tight ends. It was a 2 tight end build. One of my tight ends got hurt, and I lost by just a little bit. But that's kind of how it goes. I mean, that's you kind of need. It is a war of attrition in the eliminator. You need your team to stay somewhat healthy, get through those bye weeks, and that's I'm making an excuse. You lose your tight end. I think I lost by like 10 anyway, so maybe anyway. But yeah, didn't make money in the contest, but I thought it was a fun sweat at least.
Yeah, no, and that's I mean, half the fun, half of the, obviously, of course, we want to have good, some good ROI and profit, but we're doing that. We're having a lot of fun with these too. And I have a lot of fun watching your stream. So again, if you're not already, be sure to follow on Twitter and follow or subscribe to Flannelverse on YouTube and check out, because how many days a week are you streaming? I know it's usually either 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
Yep. So I usually do 4 days per week. I might switch that up going forward. Initially, I wasn't doing Fridays because I had I did the UFL DFS show for Fantasy Points on Fridays, and I want to focus on research for that. But now, so I have my Fridays open now. Could start drafting on Fridays. I actually was going to right before this stream, had to rearrange things this week, so I ended up not streaming today on my channel. But yeah, probably 4 to 5 days a week going forward.
Okay, awesome. Well, yeah, be sure to check that out. I know I watch as many of your streams as I can. They're always fun. You always bring on amazing guests. So yeah, and that's fun. And I know then you're going to have a lot of teams to sort through if you make the finals. No, when you make the finals. When you make the finals. That's right. I think that's going to be fun. When you make the finals, who is your partner?
Right, exactly. Who am I going to be sweating with? We're going to be cheering together. Yeah, that's true. My guests are competing against each other.
I kind of think so. I mean, they definitely are, and I'm a competitive girl, so I want to make the finals with you and your team. So I know I'm shooting for that. So yeah, a couple of housekeeping notes. Also, be sure to like this episode, subscribe to the Fanspeak Network. We're on a road to 1,000. We'll be announcing some fun giveaways and some fun other live streams that we're doing. This is a little warm up with a 2-hour happy hour, but we're going to be doing some longer and fun live streams. Also, check out our content on fanspeak.com, all free. We've got a bunch of articles, Steve's rankings, all that good stuff. So a couple other questions, and then we'll jump into a draft, Neil. So have to ask a few just basic kind of like strategy or player take questions before we dive in. So strategy wise, everybody I know is high on 0 RB. I get it. Are you like a full 0 RB guy, or are you like really interested in any other major strategies this particular draft season?
I would say I do mostly 0 or hero RB. So
hero RB too,
a lot of my teams are definitely 0 RB. I've been largely fading the second round running backs. I will say Fantasy Points just hired a former NFL scout who just put out his ranking of offensive lines for this year, and it sort of made me regret some of my my low exposure on Saquon Barkley. Like I've been fading Saquon Barkley pretty hard. He has the Eagles with the 3rd best offensive line in the NFL this year. And it's things that I know. Like I kind of have an idea of how good the offensive lines are, but still just like that reminder of like, yeah, I probably don't want to be full fading Saquon Barkley. So I don't actually know my exact exposure. I probably have 3 or 4%. Probably want to get that up to at least like 6%. Similarly, I mean, you got Christian McCaffrey. I've been taking McCaffrey as the 101 mostly, but the Niners number 2 in offensive line rankings. And then one of my biggest fades has been, I haven't got a ton of the Lions backfield in general. Both Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are guys that I am underweight to the field on. They are ranked number 1 in offensive line rating. So I'm sort of thinking maybe I need to switch it up a little bit. I've been mostly 0 RB. I think that generally 0 RB, hero RB, those are good strategies for most contests, but in particular best ball. So I am going to stick with it largely, but it is a good reminder that you don't really want to be full fading these guys because they could put up huge numbers this year.
Absolutely. And that's what's great about starting early, like you and I both do. And you're, like you said, streaming all 150, that, you can get pulses as we go throughout the season. We still have plenty of draft season left to say, I need to, maybe think about pulling back on this exposure or pushing up this exposure. And, I think especially in July and August, we're going to be doing more of that, really looking at our exposures and trying to, push and pull there for sure.
Plenty of time to adjust. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was basically trying to say. Plenty of time to adjust. So that was kind of leads me to my next question is somebody in like the first 4 rounds, first 4 or 5 rounds, who is your guy? And then like your late round sleeper that you feel that you're drafting a lot of, who are like the early and the late guy that you are drafting a ton of.
I'm pretty high on Jamar Chase this year. I might throw him up there because I sometimes take him ahead of even like Tyreek Hill
you're right.
and Justin Jefferson, just making a bet on that offense. I think they were dealing with a lot of injuries last year. Burrow was hurt for a lot of the year. Chase himself was hurt a lot of the year. So they never really got in a rhythm, never really put it together last year. I still think that's going to be an elite offense. And I love just doing the stack. I love throwing on Burrow later. I feel like he's going way too late. So I draft a lot of Jamar Chase. He would be on that list. I guess, less obvious would be Christian Kirk. I've been drafting a ton of Christian Kirk, largely just because I think he is kind of like the last pick in what I consider to be a tier of wide receiver. So I like Christian Kirk quite a bit in those early rounds. As far as late round, I would say Khalil Herbert, a guy I've been doing a lot of. As I said, I do a lot of zero RB. I think Khalil Herbert, I just believe in the talent. It's not really clear how he's going to get there right now with 3 running backs there in Chicago, clearly behind DeAndre Swift.
Maybe still trade. We don't know.
Exactly. That's the thing. There have been rumors, and that's the dream, of course, is that we get a trade for Khalil Herbert. But even if he doesn't, I just think that he's too talented to not have some opportunity at some point this year. And where he's going, you need one spike week would probably pay off his current ADP. So I like Khalil Herbert quite a bit. I think that he's going, drafted in like the worst case scenario for him, essentially, where his ADP is. I think that the upside is very, very large there.
Okay. And last question is, since you have been in the streets so early and are streaming all 150, has there been anything that's really outside of the wide receiver, avalanche, which is, I think, everybody realizes you got to grab those wide receivers before the avalanche hits and it gets dried up. But is there anything that surprised you this year?
Anything that surprised me this year? I mean, it's still a bit shocking to see the 2 Rams young guns going so early. And I think it's warranted, like Puka Nacua being in the first round, but like a guy you were literally drafting in the last round of the draft, whenever you wanted last year, is now going 9, 10 overall. That is insane. And then you get Kyren Williams, similar, same offense, was going the last round, second to last round last year. And now he's was in the second round for a while, now more like the third round. But those guys going when they are, I guess, would be a surprise a little bit. I'm trying to think if there's any other like bigger surprises to me, because it's to call those surprises is maybe not entirely true.
Sure, but I get what you're saying. Like it's something that
it's a little bit jarring to see. I don't know. How would you answer that question?
My answer to that question is I think that the mid-range of quarterbacks is kind of criminally underpriced, and we are
me too.
So many quarterbacks. I actually just wrote about this week, from like ADP of like 95 to 160. So like 8th to 13th round. There is like a sweet spot there where, and me, and because you did a stream with me and you've probably heard me say this, I do like 3 quarterback builds. But there's multiple reasons for that, but you can get 2 like in that sweet spot and maybe 1 late, and you're not, I don't think, overspending your draft capital, and it is just loaded like Dak, Jordan Love, obviously the rookies. Then you've got, I think Herbert is way too low. I think both, while they're pocket passers, Aaron Rodgers and Cousins, yes, both pocket passers coming off Achilles injuries, but I still think they're way too low. So I just think it's just, that's what, that totally shocks me.
Yeah, that's a good call out. Like Burrow. I mean, I mentioned Burrow, and he goes
Burrow,
slightly ahead, but he falls into that range sometimes. Kyler is, a little bit ahead of that range, also falls into, I would say, I'm kind of surprised by that price also. And then, you love Dak. I know you're not a Jaden Daniels girl, but Jaden Daniels is a quarterback that I like in that range as well. There's several that I love in that range. So that's a good call out. You mentioned the rookies. I would say to me, that has been one of the bigger changes also, is how high the price is for rookies in general these days. Maybe that's a little bit surprising. I'm just so used to it. I've been doing it for, months now, so I'm used to it, but that was pretty surprising early on.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the Jake Daniels thing, I'm a Washington fan. I got a Kirk Cousins shirt behind me. So it's more, I'm a little cynical from the RG3 days of just the running quarterback. Is he going to stay healthy? I know people hate to hear that. I get it. I get that people hate to hear that, but it is a concern. I mean, if you look at Lamar Jackson, right, toss out his rookie year, of the 5 seasons, he had 2 MVP, 2 on IR, and 1 in the COVID year was great. But so, I mean, if God forbid he got injured this year, he'd have 3 IR, 3, awesome. So you do have to take the good with the bad with those. And so I'm just a little skeptical and nervous, but I know he's a much better passer than a lot of other rushing quarterbacks. And there is a lot to be hopeful for. So I'm trying to be positive and hope he stays healthy. And I do want to get more exposure to him. So maybe we'll get that opportunity. Say hi to a few more folks in chat. Max says, what's good? We've got Bindles in chat. Let's go. He will be on next Friday. So he'll be our friend of best ball next Friday. So and then Murray Line mentioned that Ramondre's ADP seems to be rising. I know obviously he had the contract deal. I don't know if the contract is pushing that up, but yeah, it has risen slightly. So so anybody who is interested in drafting with us, I am going to jump in a draft now. So if you would like to draft with us, we are going to hop in. Neil and I are drafting together. We are waiting on 9 people. So if anybody wants to join us, you have your opportunity
Nice.
down. Yeah. So 7-6. So Neil, I mean, I'm greedy here. I want multiple finals teams with you. So
yeah, let's do it. Let's get
one on this
one.
channel, one on two or on your channel. I mean, let's go for it. So
do a repeat of BBM3 when we both had separate teams in the finals. Exactly. Now we're just going to collaborate and have teams in the finals together.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine splitting 1.5 million. I'm totally fine with that. So
let's do it.
Then we could really celebrate with a great bottle of bourbon,
Yeah, right. Get some what's the Blanton's? That's the fanciest bourbon that I've had in recent memory was a Blanton's, which is pretty good also.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if I've had that, but okay, so let's see. We are in the 6th spot, which I actually do like a couple players in that spot, but I want to get your feedback. And I see Noel Fan, who joins a lot of streams in general in the best ball space and joins a lot of our streams. So great to see you. I'm not sure if we got any others in here.
Jack Mitchell, I know.
Okay, good. Okay, Jack Mitchell.
King of Kings in here.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Okay, so awesome. We got Frank, we got Jack Mitchell, we got Noel Fan, we got Spread Astaire. He's part of the Fanspeak team. He's at the 8th spot. Frank's at the 11th spot. So good. A full room of folks we know. That's what I love to see. So that is awesome. So now I ask you, what do you typically like to do at the 6th spot? I mean, obviously there's a few guys in that range.
I mean, it's usually going to be basically by ADP. Like obviously McCaffrey's not making it back to us. CeeDee Lamb's not making it back to us. But after that, it would probably be Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown is typically where I go here. I'm not reaching for one of these running backs in Bijan or
okay. So
or
you don't even
right here.
Okay, that was okay. So you said in order, just out of curiosity, it would be Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra, Jefferson.
Jamar Chase, Hill, Jefferson, Amon-Ra.
Okay. I mean, they're going to go, but let's just cue them up for fun.
Yeah, might as well. You can dream.
Okay, so it went McCaffrey, Lamb, Hill, Chase, and we have Jefferson and Amon-Ra. I'm going to let you pick there. I am a Bijan girl, but Amon-Ra falls to us. Do you want to?
I like Amon-Ra. I like the Week 17 matchup with the Niners.
Oh,
I think that could be just fireworks there. I wouldn't be opposed to Bijan there. I usually he falls to you at the 6 hole, sometimes the 7 hole. So I do take those 2 running backs ahead of Puka, AJ Brown, etc. typically. So I still get a good amount of exposure to those. I kind of consider them a tier after Amon-Ra, essentially.
So you're trying to get them more in like the 7th, 8th spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not opposed to it. Like you could take them ahead of Amon-Ra. I think that's totally fine. Just because I'm doing so many drafts, I want to get exposure to all these guys. So I'm not like making any big reaches.
Yeah, I do need to be better about that, about following ADP, and because I do have the guys I love in the first round and try to get a little more of. And I know I do need to and I think I'll probably be more self-aware of that in late July and August, but I do need to balance it out and go a little more towards ADP. Because my favorites are probably early. It would be, of course, McCaffrey, Lamb. Middle, I do love Bijan. And then later in the draft, I love Garrett Wilson. So those are probably my three favorites of the three pockets.
Nice.
So Jack Mitchell, you said's in the draft. He said, what's up? And Spread said this is going to be a tough room. So yeah, look out. Let's see. This will be fun to see who emerges from this room. So yeah, we went Amon-Ra, and then it went Bijan, Breece Hall, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Frank got Puka, and then Jahmyr Gibbs, Drake London, Marvin Harrison around the turn. So
yeah, Puka Harrison gets that week 17 for King of Kings.
Yeah.
Correlation immediately.
Oh yeah, very nice, Frank. I like that. Yeah.
What one bonus of taking Amon-Ra here is now we can consider, I talk about I don't have a ton of exposure to Saquon. We could consider a Saquon or a Jonathan Taylor. Like I wouldn't want to go running back. So you have those options. And then you also have the Niners options for the week 17 ring back. So I think we have some nice options.
I was gonna say we're up in one. I queued those guys, and if there's any, anybody else, Nico, Mike Evans, are at the top of the ADP that you're interested in, what would you like to do here? Ayuk did just go, so we have Debo from the Niners, and then we have Barkley and Jonathan Taylor. What are your thoughts?
I wouldn't mind getting a share of Barkley. As I said, I don't have a ton of Barkley, but he is, I see, your highest ranked here. So let's get our guy.
This is my brother's rankings. But yeah, he and I have Barkley ranked high too. This is, like you said, the best offense, the best offensive line that he's played with. I know people kind of fear the, tush push and that kind of stuff, but sometimes you want to play that hypothetical. What if Barkley is going to try to keep, Hurts, running into the line a little bit less, maybe, so
what if he just doesn't fall down at the 1 20 times
or that. Yeah. Yeah. If they're not at the 1 that many times, I know that was like a joke. He was on the Kelsey podcast and they were like, just don't go down at the 1.
Right.
So yeah. And then let's see what folks in the room did. Noel fans started Jamar Chase, Jonathan Taylor, Jack Mitchell started Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins. That's a really nice receiver start. And then we're coming around the 2-3 turn here. Do you have any major fades or guys that you're staying away from in the top 3 rounds? I know first round you're trying to balance exposures, but second, third round, is anybody you're kind of not?
I'm pretty out on Michael Pittman in general. I'm not going on my way to draft a lot of Michael Pittman. I like DK Metcalf in the 3rd round. We Devonta Smith went. I don't take a ton of Derrick Henry, Devin H. I'm usually looking for another wide receiver here, so it would normally be DJ Moore for me, especially since we already have a running back.
Okay, so is there any other receivers? We are on the clock. There's at the top of ADP. It's DJ Moore, Cup.
Yeah, it would probably be DJ Moore for me of this group.
So that works for me. I need to get more. I love the Chicago receiver room, and I kind of get paralyzed as to which one to take. I usually do lean more. I've been trying to get more Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze is the one I've taken the least of so far. But I'm trying to balance those out too. So I like that. So we got a Barkley, Amon-Ra, DJ Moore start. That feels good. I like that.
Not bad.
Always kind of look for the 49ers run back in Kittle, if that presents itself too. Yep. So, or even a Ricky Paracel later. So don't mind that.
I suppose we could have considered Sam Laporta. I see Travis Kelce went off the board early. Sam Laporta maybe still there. So maybe we could have done that with the Amon-Ra, but I don't know. It feels a little early when we have so many great tight ends later.
I know, it's so weird. My biggest stand last year was the rookie late round tight ends, and
that worked out
50% Sam Laporta, and that worked out really great. And now I barely touch Sam Laporta just because I feel like with all these elite tight ends and their prices, his is just too high for me. It just feels like I'm paying a little bit too high of a price there. So it's so weird to go from 50% to, I think just 2 drafts so far this year. It's very odd.
But the price is just so different. And then you like, I don't know that I like Laporta better than Trey McBride, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, and they're all going off the board later. So it's just a tough click where he's going.
Right. So is DJ Moore your favorite Bears wide receiver that you've been taking, or have you been trying to mix it up somewhat evenly?
I draft DJ Moore the earliest of them. I wouldn't say that he is necessarily my favorite at cost. Probably Odunze is actually my favorite at cost.
I need to get more of him.
Just because he's the cheapest.
Mhm.
DJ Moore is to me the last of his tier. Like I sort of consider that to be a tier break between DJ Moore and Cooper Kupp, Tank Dell, Pittman, etc.
Right.
So I take a lot of him just because it's like, all right, I guess I like him the best of this group. It's never honestly a click that I love. It's more like all right, nobody that wanted to fall fell to me, so I guess I'll go with DJ Moore again. Certainly has spike week upside. So it's not. I think it's a good click there, but it's not like an exciting where I'm like, oh, good. I'm so glad this player fell to me. It's more of a he's the best available.
Sure. So I know you're not a Pickens guy. He is the top of ADP. If you wanted to look, why do you like Pickens here? Or
I don't have a ton of Pickens exposure, so I would be fine going Pickens here. We could always take one of the Chiefs receivers around the turn. I've done that a couple times over the past couple of days. So I'd be open to that if you wanted to. Or we could, we have the Keenan Allen double stack for the turn also. Yeah, I like Pickens here. And then
okay, let's go Pickens here, and then we can kind of. I actually do like Pickens. I know one of the CBS analysts had his bold take was Pickens has the most touchdowns in the league, just with setting up well in the Arthur Smith offense with obviously the best quarterback he's played with, because he hasn't played with a good quarterback yet, and he did so much better with Mason Rudolph. So I think you got to maybe squint to see it a little bit, but I do like George Pickens maybe a little bit more than you, and so I'm fine with him. I'm fine with the round 4 George Pickens, but it does feel, similar to the Laporta thing. It does feel a little high with some of these guys. Round 4 is kind of my least favorite, actually, of some of the of these early rounds, to really, as far as like my confidence level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. I also, part of it is, in this range, I'm often taking one of the tight ends. I like Trey McBride quite a bit, Mark Andrews. And then part of it is also like Christian Kirk used to be going after Pickens. Right. And I liked Kirk better. Now you see here, Kirk goes ahead of him. Amari Cooper goes ahead of him. So it was always like, I'm always taking Kirk or Amari Cooper ahead of George Pickens. Now it's to the point where it's like between Pickens and Terry McLaurin. Yeah, I'm fine with taking Pickens, making the bet on Pickens there. So I am drafting him a little bit more now, getting my exposure up, but part of it is just like the players I like better have risen quite a bit, which I guess that's a good thing that these guys that I've drafted these guys, now they're rising.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Okay, so Hollywood Brown just went.
So we could go. I would say either Xavier Worthy or Keenan Allen here would be my picks.
I was gonna say, so the double stack, and I'm gonna put those two up. So I'll let you kind of defer to you on your favorite pick here. If you want to get some Chiefs exposure, you want to double stack, and obviously we'd be targeting maybe getting a Caleb stack. Let's
go Xavier Worthy.
Okay.
And then I would so my thinking here would be queue up all of the Bears and Seahawks receivers now would be my thinking. So part of the reason for taking Worthy is feel like we can probably get Odunze around the turn and just still get the double stack, make kind of a different bet on the Bears.
I mean, if you wanted to, okay. And then
and then just lock it JSN.
Okay, there we go.
So I think you can start building out kind of a fun stack here with this group.
Yeah. Okay, so we started 0, 1, 4 in the first 5 rounds. And so we got Barkley as our anchor or hero running back with Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Xavier Worthy. We'll be back up right around Kittle's price. So I do want to keep an eye on that.
Do him up. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So just to consider, I'll kind of have him and Odunze kind of the top there if we want to look at that. I know you said this on a stream. When you're in the middle, it's hard to like talk and then try to make like optimal picks. Right. Whereas at one end or another, you can talk with the guests, talk with the chat, look at the chat, queue up some players. The middle, you do kind of have to be ping pong. I just saw you say that on the stream, and I'm like, that couldn't be more true.
Yeah, goes very quickly. Murray says, showing your queue is bold. I mean, I'm not, we don't have to do what we've planned out for now. That's the fun thing. I feel like we built out in a way where we have some different directions we can go with this team.
I'm a star method. I'm a queuer. I'll show it to you. So if someone wants to take it, we'll pivot. That's the
And also, those are all players that we are queuing up because of what we already have on our team. It's not like we're not queuing up Romo Dunze because we're like he is the guy that you need in this round. We're queuing up Romo Dunze because we're trying to build out a double stack. So it's like
right.
the benefit that he has to us isn't the same to the other teams in our room. So it's, I don't know.
Right.
People can snipe us if they want to. We'll just change our strategy.
Exactly. So yeah, taking a quick look at chat, spread just went Dalton Kincaid. Frank went Calvin Ridley, who's one of my favorites coming around the corner. He went Joe Mixon. Rome goes. So yeah. So just keeping an eye, and then we're up in a couple. So I'll go ahead and pull this over because we're up in 2. So let me ask you this. If Kittle's there, would you want to get that week 17 correlation and just get exposure to 40? Nope, Kittle's gone. Okay. So
the answer would have been yes, but I like Lad McConkey here. What else do we have? Hopkins is totally fine. Addison also has week 7 or playoff week correlation with the Bears if we want to go that route.
Which name? Watson?
Addison. Oh, he went. So yeah, I like Lad McConkey as a pick here.
Yeah, it gives you a nice option with Herbert too. So does Hopkins. And they both have week 5. So pick whichever quarterback you like better. I talked about that range. Yeah. So I'll let you choose.
Yeah, let's go Lad.
Okay, like it. Just go ahead and click draft. So, okay, so we've got 1-5 and Barkley, Amon-Ra, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Xavier Worthy, Lad. Obviously, as far as stacks are concerned, we could stack Goff, Caleb Williams, Herbert are, kind of stacks that we can keep an eye on. And again, I am a cure. If you want to take them, go for it. But, just to keep an eye.
Yeah. Just a reminder of what we need.
Exactly. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Again, as you're trying to talk through stuff, just to remember who you're keeping an eye on.
You are living in the danger zone though, because you queue them up, but then you don't order them according to ADP. So that's where you can get really screwed by the star method.
The star method can really get
Cole Kmet in the 9th round. Yeah.
Okay, so right now JSN is at the top, but yeah, it could get dicey quickly. Yeah. So JSN did just go. It's DeAndre Swift and Cole Kmet, and I'll leave this up because with just 4 picks away, I had queued Swift. I haven't taken a lot of him, to be quite honest. Swift, Kmet, and then quarterbacks for later. But we're coming up at 78 by ADP. There are some pretty good running backs on the board. You got Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, David Montgomery, and because we lost Kittle. So top tight ends, Evan Ingram, Jake Ferguson, and then Keen Coleman, Jameson Williams. So with 1 pick, who are you interested? Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery is still there. Do you have any interest in?
I would say either Montgomery or Ferguson would be my pick here.
Oh, I like the Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of like that too. I'll let you call it just because I don't know.
Let's go Ferguson.
Okay. I mean, the Washington girl is obsessed with Dak as her probably favorite quarterback at value.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he had the most touchdowns in the league last year. He was QB3 last year, and you're getting him in the 90s, usually around 8 or 9. So to me, and I'll go ahead and cue Dak up as well. Let's see how the star method plays out for us here. But I'm sure David Montgomery's going to go before we come back to us. But whoa, I'm just getting. I swear to God, the bourbon hasn't hit yet. David Montgomery did go. That's why I was grabbing the wrong player. So basically, it's just DeAndre Swift and quarterbacks and Cole Kmet queued up. So I'll show the board for a minute, but then we will have to go back and make our pick, and it will be at 91. So what are your thoughts on? Let's talk through the kind of the quarterbacks of these stacks that we do have potentially lined up. Again, with Caleb Williams, obviously Justin Herbert, now Dak Prescott, and then Goff. Who would be like your must-have, or your, I guess, in order? Who do you like the most?
I would take Dak first. We already have the week 17 built out with Saquon, so we just get that stack all done immediately. I like that. Caleb would be nice to have on this team. If is Lockett still available to throw on the?
I think Lockett went.
Okay.
Oh no, I thought I queued Lockett.
I thought you had 2. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So
that's a fine secondary. But yeah, it would be Dak first for me. If not Dak, we could go.
let me
We
see
could go
what
Swift
CD
here, Swift or
Lamb's
Lockett.
team. I don't know if we could push Dak. CD Lamb's did take Mahomes. So you maybe could push it. So would you want to go Lamb here, or would you want to
I would just go
Dak?
Personally, I just go Dak.
That's
I
how I
feel
feel
like it's risky
too.
to push it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm a get your quarterbacks guy.
I am too.
Done.
I am absolutely get your quarterback. Absolutely. Let's look at the board. So we got the Ferguson Dak stack at 7-8, and I like that a lot. We'll be back up at 102. Noel Fan just got Joe Burrow, I believe, to complete a Jamar Chase stack. Very nice. Jack got James Conner, like that a lot.
I suppose at this point I would probably say not Caleb because they do have the same bye week.
Right.
Dak and Caleb.
Right. Well, we didn't go overboard because none of the other Bears guys
they didn't fall to us.
See how Seahawks fell to us. So and like you said, how nice that we were able to just kind of naturally get that week 17 with getting Barkley early and then getting Ferguson and Dak. And I have to say, looking back and doing some research on the, playoffs and team totals and environments and my favorite games, historically, there's been some massive shootouts with Eagles Cowboys. So I really like that game.
Yeah. That could be a fun one.
Yeah, that definitely could be fun. Okay, we're up again too. You'll be in the middle here. You always feel like you're on the clock at 102. So at the top of ADP is DeAndre Swift. If you wanted to just correlate,
I'd do that probably. I like where he's going.
I'll just show the other running backs in case, but I'm fine with Swift as well.
Yeah, so. I think I'm not that high on Swift, but we have a nice correlation there. I think he makes sense for this team.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. So so far 1, 2, 5, 1 start. I like that a lot. I actually recently just wrote an article, still should be on the homepage of fanspeak.com, but you can also check out the best ball headquarters and there's hubs of different kind of, strategies, player takes, playoffs, all the good stuff. And I did in the strategy piece, kind of my favorite start is a 1, 3, 5, 1. However you want to do it, you're still getting the 5 receivers before the avalanche. You can get a somewhat of an elite tight end. You get, an elite quarterback, and then you still have 3 running backs. And that matches Hayden Wink's article of what has worked all 4 years of prior BBMs. Not just, because we always want to look at what worked last year, but we don't know what's going to work this year. What's worked all 4 years is having 3 running backs and 5 receivers by 10 rounds. So I do like the 1, 3, 5, 1 start. So not that I'm going to force us to take a running back here, but we could, and or we could see what else falls to us. So
we'll see if the running back is the pick. I feel like we've already built out, and I think we talked about this last time we were on. I can't remember. I do like building out this way also just for the optionality now. Like we can take the falling values. We can choose now between a running back, another receiver. Whereas if you take 6 receivers in the first 6 rounds, like you really don't want to be taking a receiver here. I think that we are in a good spot now because of the way we started the draft, where we can, if it's Dallas Goedert here, we could take Dallas Goedert.
Right.
If it's, we can just kind of take whatever the value is that falls to us.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And that's why I love the 1, 3, 5, 1 for the reason you said. Perfectly. Yeah. So we are coming up in a couple picks, and let me just take a look at the running back by ADP. It's Singletary, Blake Corum, Gus Edwards at the top. Any thoughts there? And then I can show you the whole board too.
We do have the week 5 running back already in.
Oh, that's
Saquon.
Right. That's right.
We still could. I mean, that's totally fine if we're going to take 5 or 6 running backs. 2 of them could have the same bye week. Just a consideration. We could do Dallas Goedert for a second bring back. We could do Brandon Cooks add on to the stack. I would.
Thoughts. I'll just move the running backs up. So Goddard, Brandon Cooks, Devin Singletary, because he's the non-week 5. Then you have Gus Edwards, Chase Brown.
Yeah, I like Goddard. Finish out our tight end room would work for me.
That works for me. They're different bye weeks, right? So So let's go Goddard here, and we are done at tight end then. And we will be back up in 9 picks.
I was just about to say, I bet we can get Herbert on this next pick if we want to, and then he goes, I think, unstacked.
Oh wow!
immediately after, because I saw Spread Astaire took Josh Palmer, so I was thinking we would be able to get him pretty easily. But I guess you can late stack him with Quentin Johnston. I think I actually know Mr. Wednesday too.
Oh, okay.
I think he's in my Discord.
Okay, very nice. Okay, well, thanks for joining us, Mr. Wednesday, in the draft as well. I mean, it took one of our stacking partners, but that's okay.
We're not very happy with you.
But got a little, but this is what I talk about, this 8th through 13th round, like a Lawrence Herbert start. I mean, I'm assuming he'll probably try to backstack, but he got Lawrence with Brian Thomas and ETN. And then I'm guessing we'll backstack Herbert. And, those are two amazing quarterbacks to get in rounds 9 and 10. So. Love that.
Yep.
Devin Singletary and Chase Brown went. Who are some of your other favorite running backs in this range?
Yes, I mean, I do like Gus Edwards. If not, I mean, the bye week is sort of a concern for me. I was gonna say Jerome Ford. I like. We could take
correlate
Zeke.
With Zeke. I was gonna say
or Dowdle.
I don't mind Eckler. I know.
Yeah,
Brian Robinson Jr. It's the both of them. I've been taking both. I think the nice thing about that room is it's really just the two of them. That's what I like about that.
Yeah.
So
we do have the week 7 with DeAndre Swift already too, so that is a factor potentially.
Right.
Can you click on running backs? Let's see who else.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't hate Dowdle. Charbonnet, totally fine. I like Miller. Yeah, it's plenty of good options here.
Okay, so we're on the clock. You want to grab a run, and we have these 5 running backs basically at the top of ADP and rankings of Steve's. So Edwards, Eckler, Elliott, if you want to correlate, or Dowdle and Sharps. What do you like the best?
I think we could still afford to take Gus Edwards here, even though we have 1 week 5. That's not the end of the world.
I like that, and it's just further team correlation. Because we have Ladd. No, we weren't able to get Herbert, but I've said that on a lot of shows and in articles is, I love team correlation, whether you get sniped or you just aren't able to get the quarterback because of other kind of cap investment that you need to spend. I still just like correlating teams that you're high on or feel like are underpriced. And I definitely feel like the Chargers are underpriced.
Yeah, no, I like that correlation. Did occur to me immediately after we made the pick. We could have taken a quarterback there. We have the bye week issue with Caleb. He's fallen far enough that maybe we could have considered him a little bit more. I don't know. But he not falling that far. I think we're okay.
Well, he's okay. I was gonna say if he comes back to us, if you take 3 quarterbacks, you could take a third late and kind of try to protect that bye.
Yeah, and we can think about what other I mean, Goff hasn't gone yet. We could still take Goff. Oh, now he goes immediately. So we hit a sweet spot of quarterbacks here with Herbert, Purdy, Jaden Daniels, as we talked about earlier in the 10th round, and then Tua, Caleb, Goff in the 11th round. So I've been seeing Jaden Daniels, speaking of going higher and higher. I'm actually surprised he fell all the way to 112 there. So who else do we have? Can you remind me what other quarterbacks we could be targeting potentially?
Sure. Yeah. So, cause all the ones we kind of queued up are gone. Goff's gone. Caleb's gone. So none really, except for, Russ, if you wanted to consider that late. And then of course there's guys that you could backstack. I mean, at the top of the quarterback board, I know my brother and I are very high on Cousins and Rodgers. These are guys that you can both backstack. I'll throw them in the queue for consideration. Neither can conflict with, any type of, or with Dak's buy, but, and
we can go Mooney first and then see if
I was going to say, I was just going to say that and see if Cousins comes back to us.
Yeah.
I think it was Coach Speak Index. There was a good, kind of quote from, Raheem Morris on Mooney, and perfect best ball pick. Mooney, that is. I
think we can unstar Komet now since we did take 2 quarterbacks,
right?
And we don't have Caleb, so it doesn't really do anything for us now.
Sure. Yeah, let's see if Cousins ADP is 148. We will be back up at 150. So we'll see. So just to take a look at the guys in chat, Spread got Tua. I'm assuming maybe he wasn't able to get Waddle. maybe there are some backstack options there, but he got Tua and Jahan Dotson his last couple picks. Frank got Josh Downs and Xavier Legette with his last few picks. Mr. Quentin Johnson, Jermaine Burton, Noel Fan, Dalton Schultz, Nick Chubb, Jack, Jerry Jeudy, and Pat Fryermuth. I think I covered most of the folks in the draft with us. Nice. So yeah, we are coming around the 12, 13 turn here. I like some of these running backs, Marshawn Lloyd, Ty Chandler. Those are some of my favorites in this range. So it's a shame that didn't make it back, but we'll see if Cousins makes it back to us. Excuse me, what's your thought on Cousins and Rodgers? I talked about them as like the two pocket passers that I like later here. What are your thoughts on them?
Yeah, I like Cousins. I draft enough of the early Atlanta guys that I'm not usually trying to do it with a backstack because I just have so much of Cousins with Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson.
Sure.
So I'm usually not trying to do the Cousins backstack, but I think here where we kind of got sniped on a lot of our quarterbacks, I think taking him makes sense. If we can get him to come back to us after we took Mooney,
right,
makes sense for us.
And it works.
Yeah,
so
works out.
We'll go ahead and grab that. So I like that. So we started 2, 3, 6, 2. Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift, Gus Edwards, Amon-Ra, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Xavier Worthy, Ladd McConkey, Darnell Mooney, and then Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goedert. Definitely done at tight end. How would you see this build going, Neil? We said we're done at tight end with the rest of the positions with, let's see how many we've got to go here. 5 picks left? How do you see the rest of the position allocation?
I'd say this will be a 3, 6, 7, 2, maybe.
Yep, that's what I was guessing that you'd say, and yeah, that makes a ton of sense to me. So 1 more quarterback, 3 more running backs, and 1 more receiver.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's easy enough.
It is painful seeing all the running backs that I like jumping off the board when we're needing some running backs. But
are these some of your? These are some. Well, we talked about. Yeah.
Well, this whole range is it's a range that I'm targeting generally, and it appears that the rest of the room feels the same way.
Yes. So I went Musgrave, Hawkinson, but then they're loaded with running backs with Charbonnet, right? Kendre Miller, our guy Spread is a big Jaleel McLaughlin guy. You are too, right?
Yeah, I like Jaleel McLaughlin quite a bit.
Yeah, so it's Spread. Okay.
I probably doesn't make as much sense to take Herbert here. We could, I talked about how much I like Herbert. We have DeAndre Swift, so it's
right.
I'm okay with the handcuff if that's what we want to do. I think that's totally fine. But I would be like more inclined to then go Antonio Gibson over Khalil Herbert in this draft. Or I honestly don't draft a ton of Chuba Hubbard. I do think that he's a solid enough pick. Like he's at least going to be playing early. But I would say Gibson, my favorite of these.
Okay, you want to go Gibson here then? I don't think we have any week 14 buys yet.
Yeah, that's nice.
To do in the running back room. So, okay, so we'll go Gibson here, and then we'll be back up. Any other running backs in this range that you really like? If it comes back to us.
Yeah, if Herbert comes back to us at ADP, maybe. Or can you show me our running backs again? I forget. Do we already take 2 week 7s? Oh, we have 2 week 5s.
No, we have 2 week 5s. So we have Barkley and Edwards. So we have Barkley, Swift, Edwards, Antonio Gibson. So we have 2 week 5s. So as long as we just kind of stay away from that, I think we're fine.
Eli Mitchell, I think, is a running back that I like late. Like I think that offense could just be awesome.
I love that offense so much.
We have some correlation there. We've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, so some week 17 correlation. Braylon Allen, a running back that I really like. That goes late. I'd be fine with Tyrone Tracy, Khalil Herbert. CEH I like now more and more as a late round running back.
I have as well. But what are your thoughts on Tank Bigsby? I've taken him some late.
I've kind of a blind spot where he was just so bad last year.
Oh, he was so bad.
And I drafted a bunch of him last year, so now I'm a little bit out on Bigsby, but maybe need to open myself back up to taking some Bigsby this year.
So Noel Fan got Levis. That's one of my favorite late round quarterbacks. Love it. I thought Hubbard was still there. Jack got him. So did you want to do the handcuff and go Herbert?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I like that. I haven't done
Because
that.
he might also get traded, right?
Exactly. If he gets traded, okay. If he doesn't, then we have a nice little handcuff situation there. And we're doing 6 running backs. It's not like we're just doing 5. So I think that's another reason to. I've only done the handcuff thing, I think, mostly in the 6 running back builds. So
yeah,
I think that makes sense. So yeah, we got Kirk Cousins, Antonio Gibson, Khalil Herbert with our last few picks. As I mentioned, Jack got Hubbard, like that pick. No fan got Will Levis, and Mr. Wednesday got Tyrone Tracy. Spread just picked up Jonnu Smith to stack with Tua. I like that a lot. Yeah. And then I like Baker as a late stack quarterback too. I mean, yeah, I honestly, when I said like 8 through 13, I really, and that's part of it, kind of plays into my whole 3 quarterback thing, is I love like the quarterbacks even in this range, like, you know, Baker, Will Levis, Aaron Rodgers, you know, and you're getting them. Now we're in the 15th round. That's wild. Yeah. So
we need to start maybe thinking about our final quarterback. So we probably only have one more receiver pick. We could go throw on a Justin Fields or something, since we do have George Pickens. Otherwise, we could go with like a Marvin Mims. I wouldn't hate that, and give us the Bo Nix option.
Right. I was to say, are there any of these other receivers that you like here? Mims just went. Are there any that you could do Tolbert to further quarter Dak if you wanted? That doesn't give a stacking option, but so
yeah, we could do a Darius Slayton.
The other thing I worry about with the Giants situation the most is just the Daniel Jones benching risk, I think, is what scares me the most. So do you want to do like a receiver here regardless, or do you like some of the running backs still on the board?
I do still like the running backs on the board. I'd be fine just doing either Russ or Fields. Take your pick.
Yeah. I take more Russ, but I mean, if you have a strong feeling on you know, wanting to take Fields, I'm open to that, because I certainly need to broaden my exposure. But I take more Russ because I do believe, you know, he's going to be starter week 1, and
I think he will be too. All the camp buzz is that he's the better, like looks better in camp. It's more of a what do you win when you win, like just the we know what Fields can be. So I would go running back here, I think. Okay.
So who do you like better? Mitchell, CEH, and then
I'd go Mitchell here.
Okay, sounds good. So let's grab Mitchell. So we got our 5th running back. We got, 6th running back. So we have 2, 6, 6, 2. Nice and balanced. And we're just going to finish it with 1 quarterback, 1 receiver. So, you know, those are the 2 receivers. I'm not sure if I also don't mind Demarcus Robinson.
I like Demarcus Robinson quite a bit.
I've taken some Tez Walker, not a ton, but I don't mind him. I don't mind Boyd, but any other receivers you like down here?
I like Greg Dortch. We could, since we have Dak, I honestly couldn't tell you much about him, but Ryan Flournoy. So if he's on the Cowboys, spell the word flour, FLOUR version. Dallas receiver who is a rookie, has some buzz, like maybe has an opportunity. I could tell you basically nothing about him, but there's a guy in my Discord who has sold me on him. I read a little bit about him, and now I forget what it was.
What round pick was
that is interesting
in the NFL draft?
I don't even late. He was not an early pick. It's more of a like he's again, I could tell you like nothing about him except if I'm stacking more, I do it more so in time box contests, just from okay, sounds like, you know, he sent me a couple articles. I was like, all right, it sounds like legit, like there is some possibility here. But I wish I could sell you on him with more info. It's more of a I've taken a couple shares because a guy in my Discord sold me on him as a maybe for a last round pick.
Yeah. Well, we're in 198 to 11 are our last 2 picks in the draft. So, and thank you for setting me up to say that I just posted a show. I'll probably tweet it tomorrow on, it's a strategy show that Steve and I did about timebacks tournament strategies you can incorporate. And one of them is draft some of those guys that are going to be basically undrafted, and not like 4 of them, like one in the last round. Yeah. I mean, I do love Tolbert.
I'd be fine going Tolbert. He's the better bet probably.
So but you're fine with that? Okay.
Yeah, totally.
So then that'll finish out receiver, and then it's just deciding on the Pittsburgh quarterback if one of them comes back to us, basically. Unless, because I'm trying to think, is there even any correlation with running back? I guess is Drake May still there? No, he's gone. And we didn't get any Saints because Carr's still there. We didn't get Seahawks either. I don't believe we had some queued up. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Gino's still there. Carr's still there. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, in those time box tournaments, I don't mind taking like an 18th round shot on like a, Ryan Flournoy or, who did we mention in we talked about Hayden Hurst in Charger stacks. I talked about doing some Sam Darnold in Viking stacks, and just in the case that he has like a Baker season, and what if that happens? And then you have like a next to no owned Sam Darnold in your Viking stacks. That could be interesting. So yeah, I think those kind of things are interesting in these fun time box tournaments. So let me bring the
6th round pick. Flournoy was a 6th round pick. Just looked it up.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it's a long shot. Okay.
Tolbert,
definitely the safe.
I was gonna say, have you been taking much Tolbert?
Here and there. Not a ton. I think I'm pretty low exposure to Tolbert. Makes sense on a team where we have the stack. We didn't get Cooks.
And we didn't stack because we didn't get Cooks, I don't believe. So yeah, it was kind of nice to get a receiver and tight end there. Yeah. So Frank got my guy Jatavion Sanders. I like that, especially as a last round pick.
I like Jatavion.
Yeah, I like that. It's so late. Total pass to tight end 1 for the Panthers. So love that. The spread did get Tank Bigsby. He'll be up next. And then you tell me what would you if both are there, what would be your preference? I know I get your point of the, what do you win when you win in the upside of Justin Fields? I do like Russ, but I'm totally open to Fields. So I'm going to leave it totally up to you. You're driving on this last pick here.
Well, so we have Dak and we have Cousins.
Correct.
Let's go Russ. Let's get me your share of Russ, because I usually take Fields when I have those options. So I don't have a ton of Russ.
I just reversed it.
Yeah.
The star method could have gone bad. Okay, so we're taking Russ with our last pick, hoping that he's the Steelers quarterback all year long. And we got a 3-6-7-2, and I'm pretty happy with it. We'll wait for the draft to finish up here, and then we'll quickly review our team and some of the other teams in chat here. But how do you feel on like an early gut reaction after our draft?
Yeah, I think it went okay. I mean, we set up some stacks that could have been done early, and then we kept getting sniped on them. So we had to sort of force in a late back stack there with Cousins, some single stacks there. But we do have the one mega game stack, and it's a fun mega game stack to have, Dallas and Philadelphia.
That's a fun, really fun game stack for sure. So.
I think I like our positional allocation overall.
Yes.
So yeah, I feel pretty good about this.
Okay. Yeah, I feel pretty good too. I love the positional allocation. Again, the 3-6-7-2. So we'll review the teams now. So while it's pulled up, Neil and I drafted together. As he mentioned, we got that big Dallas Eagles stack, and then we stacked up Kirk Cousins and Russ Wilson. So Dak, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift, Gus Edwards, Antonio Gibson, Khalil Herbert, little handcuff there, Elijah Mitchell, running back Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Xavier Worthy, Ladd McConkey, Darnell Mooney, and Jalen Tolbert, to include in the Dak stack with Jake Ferguson and Dallas Goedert. So yeah, I love that Dallas Philly game stack. Some other little minis I think we have in here. We'll be partnering soon with Pat from Fantasy Dog Pound and his tool, Best Ball Overlay. It'll make this part very easy to, as we're drafting, see exposures and correlations and be able to talk that through. So I look forward to partnering and using Best Ball Overlay very soon. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I really like this team, Neil. I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, and we did the bye weeks pretty well. I mean, I think we only have like one overlapping bye week at running back, maybe a couple at wide receiver, but that's fine with the number that we took.
Yeah.
I think I do the Ferguson Goddard pairing maybe too often. Like at some point I'll have to stop doing. Yeah, I end up doing that one a lot just because it's so easy to do with the game stack, regardless of which quarterback you end up taking. But I think, it's a very solid tight end room. So that's part of it. I think that's like the right amount of draft capital to spend at tight end with Ferguson and Goddard. I like the team.
Yeah, I like that. I like this a lot. So, okay, this was a tough room. So let's check out some of the other ones. We'll go to Jack next, who was at the 3 spot, and he drafted a 3-6-7-2. So he got Lamar Jackson, CJ Stroud, Daniel Jones. That's a strong quarterback room, too early, and then finishing out with Daniel Jones, James Conner, Tony Pollard, Devin Singletary, Zach Charbonnet, Chuba Hubbard, who we were eyeing, Rashawn Johnson. Then we got Tyreek Hill, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Deontay Johnson, Jerry Jeudy, Rashad Bateman, Darius Slayton, Mark Andrews, Pat Freiermuth. Again, it'll be much easier when I have the tool plugged in, but I can tell there's a lot of correlation with Lamar, with Daniel Jones, with CJ Stroud. So definitely all his quarterbacks are stacked. And I actually like his allocation a lot too. What do you think of Jack's team?
Yeah, I mean, 3-6-7-2 looks great. He gets, I'm sure he was not planning on taking Stroud there, was just planning on doing the Baltimore stack, but Stroud falls to him at 75.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Maybe a slight concern that Daniel Jones, like the big fear with Daniel Jones, as you alluded to, is that he's not playing late in the year. You need him to cover. You need him to play in week 14 in this team because you have like 2 week 14 buys with that Baltimore Houston game stack. But still, I'd say probably greater than 50% chance that Daniel Jones is still the quarterback there in week 14. So that's, I think, fine relying on Daniel Jones there. I think it looks good.
Yeah, no, I think this is definitely a strong team. So well done, Jack. Let's go to Noel Fan. He drafted a 2-4-9-3. Okay, so we got Joe Burrow, Will Levis, so kind of a hyper fragile build with running back here with Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara, Raheem Mostert, and Nick Chubb, and then Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Hollywood Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Cooks, Malachi Corley, Demarcus Robinson, Tyler Boyd, Dalton Schultz, TJ Hawkinson, and Chig Okonkwo. So definitely I can tell his quarterbacks are stacked, both Burrow and Levis. The only thing that makes me a little nervous is a Chubb in a hyper fragile, but other than that, so I probably would have done like a 5-8 in that situation. But other than that, I mean, I like the correlation, like a lot of the players he drafted. What do you think?
Yeah, I share the same concern about that running back room being just a little bit too fragile with Nick Chubb in a 4. I mean, I don't do a ton of 4 running back builds in general, and then to have Nick Chubb as one of those 4 running backs does not feel great to me. I think the stacking is totally fine. Burrow and Levis as your quarterbacks, I think, is all right. I think there's some upside in both of them. He did go Jonathan Taylor pretty early. But just in general, it's kind of a dusty running back room in general. I mean, they're still talented, but like they're all hitting that age cliff where I'm a little bit nervous about it with those 3 and Chubb being your only running backs. I'd like a little bit more safety, probably throw on one more running back there. But I understand wanting to go with Tyler Boyd, Chig Okonkwo, throwing that onto the stack. I think you could have gone one or the other with those 2.
And then get
though I like Boyd, I probably
because he did have Hopkins.
He had Hopkins already.
So I would have probably done, but that would probably be, it would just simply probably do 5-8 as far as running back receiver there, maybe.
But for most of the year, theoretically he could have 4 running, or for part of the year, theoretically could have 4 running backs, so could work out.
Right. Absolutely. You said Mr. Wednesday is in your Discord, so let's check out his team. 3, another hyper fragile. We got 3-4-9-2. So Lawrence, Herbert, JJ McCarthy, and then Devon A. Chain, Travis Etienne, Jalen Wright, Tyrone Tracy, then Justin Jefferson, Deebo Samuel, Brian Thomas Jr., Jameson Williams, Quentin Johnson, Jermaine Burton, Roman Wilson. He's one of my favorite late round rookies, by the way. John Mechie and Andre Ilosovas, and then Kyle Pitts, Brock Bowers. I know Spread and Chat's going to love this. He's obsessed with, he's a Vegas fan, so he loves his Brock Bowers. The same thing here for me. I looks like, I believe, did he get a stack with Herbert? I'm not sure if he was able to complete.
Yeah, Quentin Johnson on that.
Oh, you got Quentin Johnson. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, that's always just goes over my head there. But yeah, he stacked up Herbert and Lawrence with Brian Thomas Jr. and McCarthy, obviously, with Justin Jefferson. So like his correlation with his stacks, to me, it all comes down to the hyper fragile. I've mixed in some hyper fragile more, and we talked about this on the show too. I kind of play around with that more in these like cheaper time box tournaments, basically, to just kind of get a little different. But I would just want to feel a little bit stronger about the 4 running backs.
Yeah, if you're going to go hyper fragile, I don't think your 3rd running back can be at pick 149. Like that's just hyper fragile. I think you kind of need to take 3 early running back, and it's a handcuff, which mixed feelings about using the handcuff in a hyperfragile. I think in general, I would be opposed to using the handcuff in a hyperfragile. Now, it could work out if Raheem Mostert is the guy that gets hurt, but part of what you like about Jalen Wright is that you have 2 outs to him becoming the starter, which I guess gives you a little bit more safety with the HN and Jalen Wright, but I don't know. I don't love that running back group. That's certainly which generally is going to be the case with a hyperfragile. But I think if you go hyperfragile, you need a little bit more strength in the running backs that you take. Even with HN and ATN being pretty early picks, I think you need at least one more like pretty reliable guy. You take 2 rookies here that could be big zeros like all year.
Right, exactly. And I like to think that I have a chance at a running back hitting the flex, and this feels like that might be tough here. Yeah. So, but like the correlation, like some of the players he got otherwise, that would be my note. I think we felt the same way about the hyperfragile and who it is. Yeah. Okay, so we already did our team. Let's go to our guy Spread Astaire. So 3-5-8-2. So he got Tua, Baker, Aiden O'Connell. I know he's gone on record feeling that Aiden O'Connell really could be the starter in Vegas. And then Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Tank Bigsby, Devontae Adams, obviously with that Aiden O'Connell stack, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin with the Baker stack, Kean Coleman, Cortland Sutton, Joshua Palmer, Jahan Dotson, Jalen McMillan, further building out the Tampa stack, and then Dalton Kincaid, Jonnu Smith. I like that a lot. He got that elite tight end, and then he correlated his second tight end with Tua. Did he get some falling value? He got a little value on Tua. And then he was able to backstack him. So yeah, I mean, I like this build. I like the positional allocation, and all his quarterbacks are definitely very well stacked, and it's anchored. It's a double hero anchor, which I know he and I have talked about. This is a time of year, and I know Peter Overzet's talked about that on his channel. You can hammer some zero RBs later when we have a little more information. If you want to do these type of builds, it's kind of good to do this time of year where we don't know as much about the running back. So he grabbed a kind of double hero anchor with Hall and Kyron Williams in the first 3 picks. So I definitely think he was fine with just 5 there. And I like his other picks. So yeah, I like this draft a lot. What are your thoughts, Neil?
Yeah, looks good. Looked to me like maybe he got was counting on some other quarterbacks and they weren't working out. So he was sort of forced into take Tua later on, unstacked at the time.
Right.
I'm glad that he reached to get Jonnu, because I feel like you don't have that many late stacking options with Tua, but I think that was the right call to take Jonnu, around ahead of ADP. I agree with you. I think stopping at 2 tight ends with Dalton Kincaid there, you already made the bet on Kincaid. That makes a lot of sense. Did he have another Buffalo receiver with Kincaid? He has Keon Coleman with Kincaid.
Yeah, so a little correlation. Yeah. And you're targeting, good teams. I mean, that's one of the things I've tried to do last year and this year is just absolutely target my favorite teams, my favorite offenses. I wrote an article on Fanspeak, top 10 offenses I'm targeting, either at value or just that I love no matter what their price is. And then offenses that can pair well together in the best ball playoffs. So check those out on fanspeak.com, but a lot of nice offenses here. So I like that a lot. And I think we just have one more. Yeah. Is it just King of King? Yeah. Frank. So let's check out Frank's team. And we have a 3-5-7 team from Frank out of the 11 spot. So Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford, as you talked about, that major week 17 correlation. Bryce Young, who I believe he got with Sanders late. So Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, Trey Benson, Donta Foreman, and then he's got Puka, Marvin Harrison to start that week 17 correlation. T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley, Romeo Doubs, Josh Downs, Xavier Legette, Hunter Henry, Kate Otten, Jatavian Sanders. So he got that. As we are betting on the Eagles Cowboys, he is betting on the Arizona Rams game. And all of his quarterbacks are stacked nicely. He's got the Mixon Henry also week 17, Houston, Baltimore. So a lot of nice week 17 correlation, obviously team correlation, a lot of players I like. I'm huge on Calvin Ridley, and Jatavian Sanders throughout, Derrick Henry. There's a lot of some of my favorite players in this. So this is an A+ for me, Frank. I like this one a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, and then he has the secondary game stack with Carolina, Tampa as well. A lot. He's
Yeah.
got Bryce Young double stack, Jatavian Sanders, and Xavier Legette also
Thank you.
has
Yeah. Yeah.
Kate Otten on there.
Exactly.
I thought he had another Tampa. Maybe it was just Kate Otten, but either way, he's got two game stacks at the very least, fully stacked with the quarterback. I didn't look for secondary correlations, but overall, yeah, looks like a pretty strong team.
Yeah, I like this team a lot. So did I hear? Do we have a visitor? We got our guy who can bring you both in here. We got Tyler.
They just let anybody on these streams these days.
They really do.
I don't know that we want to see my face here. Maybe we want to see Tyler. How are we? So Neil and I just finished up the first part of Best Ball Happy Hour, and part 2 of Best Ball Happy Hour. I'm going to be drafting with this guy, Tyler, who's just coming off a stream yourself. You had a happy hour stream, you, Tom, and Peter Overzet, right?
Yeah, we're working on the old can stack. We got.
Oh wow, I like it.
I was going to ask what was inside the koozie. Remind me what ranch water is, because I'm not from the South.
It's essentially like a pretty mild seltzer. So we got the what do we got? Agave nectar and lime. Yeah. So
okay, that's not what I thought. I thought it was like I don't even know what it I thought it was like a mix of like two pretty standard things, but
it's essentially like if you're South. So if you drink a lot of beer, it's much more of like a milder palatable seltzer to like beer drinkers.
Mm-hmm.
And then personally myself, I wasn't really in the mood for anything super sweet after doing a work happy hour social last night where I was pounding whatever, doesn't matter. So anyway, so like a little light stuff, hair of the dog. Because we finished with Pete on Fantasy Sanctuary, and then the sickos wanted a bunch of 10-second clock drafts. And I guess when you're streaming, they turn into 5-second clocks. So we did about 5 of those, 2 at the same time.
Oh wow!
It wasn't too much of a disaster, but it was fun. I do turn into an auctioneer if I'm drafting fast. I'm talking fast, so I'm gonna enjoy kind of bringing it back down with 30-second clocks. Feels like an eternity.
Okay, so you did a BBM first, and then did all of those quick.
A bunch of mini schnauzers, yeah. So I'm up here because for lunch I had like a quart. I got Thai food for lunch, and I forget that they serve every beverage in like a quart jar. And I said I'll take a Thai iced coffee, and they brought it in a quart jar. So like I feel it just now starting to kind of ease out of my bloodstream as we're just pounding ranch water. So that seems healthy and good and fine. Not health advice.
You're doing multiple Best Ball happy hours on this beautiful Friday. That's like
what Fridays are for. And y'all might not have known, and I didn't know this till my lovely co-host crunched the numbers. Today is the 69th day until the start of the season.
I saw that on Twitter. I did see that on Twitter.
Okay, yeah. I didn't. I've been meetings all day up until happy hour. So as someone that's only doing 69 Best Ball Mania drafts, today is an inaugural day. So I figured what better to do than happy hour with friends.
Very nice.
Absolutely. So did Pete stay for the mini schnauzers, or did
no? He had a heart out. That's solo schnauzen, as we'd say.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well that's fun that you were able to do BBM and do the fast drafts with your folks over there.
Absolutely.
I caught 1 or 2 of you doing the fast draft. I did not get you doing multi-tabling the fast drafts. That sounds like chaos.
You know what? Honestly, it's not too bad.
Really?
If I'm not watching chat, it's fine. I'm just bouncing in between, queuing, whatever. But like the second I start engaging with the chat on the other screen, I got a naked Gino and got super pissed.
Yeah.
So, you can multi-table. You just can't multi-table and multitask. But I tried, and the teams weren't awful.
All right.
So which clock do you like the best? I haven't gotten into it yet. I had a busy day and haven't been able to rip some. I'll do later
the 10-second
tonight.
clocks are fun because you can get a whole draft done in like 20 minutes.
That's so cool. Yeah.
So like that, like literally like a half a lunch break, you can rip a draft. So like my sick brain is like, this is great. I can do 2 drafts in an hour. And for me, I'm already like, I have severe ADHD. So I'm like, come on. Pick, go. I know who I want. I know what pockets I want. I know what players I want. So like, it's not too bad on the desktop. You can kind of buy yourself a couple more seconds using the queue and kind of swapping players in. On phone, you definitely got. I feel like as long as you just manage your queue and you pay attention, you'll be fine. I'm sick. My brain is broken. I like the 10-second clock. I get the people that might not.
Gotcha. Neil, have you done any yet?
I did. I started with a 20-second clock, and it didn't feel fast enough to me. So I think I'm on the same page. Like I was like, this just feels too much like a standard draft. Like most people aren't taking the full 30 seconds anyway. So then I ramped it up to the 10-second, and it did feel very quick. Because it's like you get on the clock and it's already red. It does the like red countdown. It's like, oh god, like I'm really on. Like you really do need to be planning between the picks. But I am with Tyler. I like that one the best. Haven't tried the 15-second. I imagine it would be. You can kind of
I feel like if you're gonna do any of them, it's just like 15 and 10. The 20 is just like I I feel like there was no other point than like I guess we'll just have all 3 unique time slots.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So are you gonna try to max all 3? Because they're all 20 max.
You
right?
got to now they get the rake back.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, like I wasn't already on track for that.
Right.
Well, this is a beautiful thing about Best Ball Happy Hour. We can, the both guests can be on at the same time, say hello to each other. We're all friends here in the Best Ball space, and that's what.
No, I hate Neil. Neil,
Tyler and I are actually rivals.
I know. I've watched shows with you guys.
Yeah.
We might be the friendliest rivals in the entire space.
We might be, especially now that you are drafting Josh Palmer. Like it was a better rivalry when you were the anti-Josh Palmer.
Didn't you enjoy that?
I was gonna say, what's the biggest rivalry? It's
not.
That's the funny thing is we've had like a couple disagreements in all of our streams. Then we just play them up big time.
Yeah,
like minor disagreements.
Yeah. Okay,
we call it the best ball beef.
The
best gotta have a little bit of beef.
Right. I like it. Okay, so Josh Palmer was one. Can you tell me any others? Were there any others that you?
Who else do you like that I hate?
That's good. There are definitely others, but I can't think off.
I can't. Sorry, my brain is fried. I have.
You got the ranch water stack. It's understandable.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the alcohol and not just like 5 fast clock drafts and a long work week where I'm like, who do we disagree with? I don't know.
Well, this has been so fun. What did you think of Neil and I's team before we start our draft? What did you think about Neil and I's team? Did you see it?
I definitely got to see the team, and I definitely have thoughts about it.
Let's hear it.
I'm sure y'all have a great team. I think the only thing that he and I disagree on really is I like to triple stack quarterbacks.
Oh, that is
okay. Skinny stacking, and Neil is his butthole puckers whenever we don't double stack a quarterback or we push a quarterback. And I'm loosey goosey. Where I'm loose is never mind. I'm gonna.
That is probably our biggest difference. I mean, you say you like triple stacking. I mean, I like triple stacking too. I'm just more of a like I double and triple is like a priority, whereas Tyler's more like single stack is all you really need. I'm going to get my guys.
Generally. Okay. I'm probably more on Tyler's side there, but I'm open. We were able to.
Yeah, Megan and I are right there. Yeah.
That's why I'm leaving.
Acknowledge nothing matters.
Not drafting with you two.
Well, Neil, it has been so much fun. We'll say bye to Neil before he heads out. Thank you so much for joining us for Best Ball Happy Hour. This was a ton of fun. Hopefully we get to do many more streams together this summer. For sure. Yeah, I would love to do more streams together. This was a lot of fun. I would have stuck around. I'm actually going to the Olympic gymnastics trials are here in Minneapolis. So my wife and I are going. That starts in an hour. So I have to head out to get there. Otherwise, I would have stuck around and drafted with you guys again. Yeah.
It's Summer Olympics, right? So you get to like scream javelin, jump.
Well, no, this is sorry, I didn't say. Did I say gymnastics? So I'm going to say.
Oh, you said gymnastics. I'm dumb and heard Olympics.
Okay,
that's fine.
I mean, it's the Olympic gymnastics, but yeah.
Okay, well, that's super fun. We'll have a awesome time, and maybe the 3 of us can all get together for a draft this summer. We've got plenty of best ball drafting days left. Thank you. 69.
69 in here.
To be exact.
We're running out of days.
Perfect. All right.
All right. Well,
thank you, Megan.
So much,
good to see you, Tyler.
Peace. Cheers, Neil. Good to see you, bud. Have a great weekend.
All right. We can do this for a second. All right. Well, I am so happy you're here, Tyler. And again, if you guys aren't already following Tyler on Twitter, I'm sure you are. It's at emo_cowboy. Check them out at the Fantasy Sanctuary. It's pinned in it's in the YouTube comments or description. Fantasy Sanctuary has just a ton of great content and shows and live drafts. And you guys have been cranking it with amazing guest after guest after guest.
Tom, I got to give Tom his flowers. He is he is grinding the guest booking, and it's been awesome. You got to strike while the iron's hot best ball summer. You just got to keep cranking them out.
Well, you guys have had amazing guests, amazing live shows. Definitely check them out if you haven't already. You're missing out if you haven't, but again, 69 more days for you to check them out this hot best ball summer. So, all right, Tyler, I look back at our first team we did together. So you were on very early in the best ball season, and in Friends of Best Ball, you were one of my first guests, and I'm so excited that you're back. I was like, I'm just curious who we drafted or what stack. And we did a Lamar, Mark Andrews kind of as our first big stack.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Other than that, I can't remember who our first round pick was, but I was just curious of that. But any other major player takes since we've last drafted together? Do you have any favorite like early round guys you're hammering, late round sleepers that you're super into? Anything new that I should know about before we jump into a draft together?
Good question. I got asked what my top exposure was at each position. And I was not surprised at Jaden Daniels leading the pack at quarterback. I was not surprised at Marshawn Lloyd leading the pack at running back. Mind you, we're about 250 post-draft drafts.
Right.
I was not surprised at Ladd McConkey leading the way at wide receiver.
Well, I like that.
And Hunter Henry leading the way at hey Ian, how you doing? At tight end. And I probably and that made a lot of sense. Last year Hunter Henry was my oh shit, I need a tight end pick at tight end. And this year kind of the same thing. Given price, given role, given the Stefanski style offense under Van Pelt. 38% is probably too much. But I know for a fact that's either to allocate the start of a 3 quarterback build or the end of a 2 quarterback build, setting up Drake May, bring back to Ladd, bring back to Herbert. So something to be mindful of. But player take wise, I'm mixing in Nuke over Ridley.
I'm a Ridley girl. Oh no.
Well, just like on the other side of the board, aside from age, Nuke outproduced underlying metrics of Ridley, and I've just decided I'm going to just start flipping the board, expecting his ADP to rise a little bit. And if it doesn't, just to flatten the exposure, because I don't want just Ridley when I have 9th through 12th picks, especially because I think Nuke is more talented, and I don't think the discrepancy in ADP matches the discrepancy in volume or production either one can do. They should probably be much tighter together. So
sure, I'm
trying to mix in plenty of Nuke there. I don't like taking Hollywood Brown, and I try not to when I can, and trying to leverage Worthy. The one take I was really strong on was not taking a lot of Nick Chubb. I was pretty bearish on his recovery at his age, at his extensiveness after not just the clip of him hopping on one leg, but the doctor, Jeff Mueller specifically coming out and saying, hey, this is pretty good for like dynamic, like lateral movement.
I saw that last night.
This is pretty good, but like one of two things is true. Exactly. Never Hollywood. When Thad's not around, I get to say never Hollywood. The thing with Chubb is that like if the thing we don't know is whether it was when his ACL was operated on, it was either a repair or it was a total reconstruction. Right. And if it was a repair, that lops off 2 months of expected return time and ramp up time. And if it was a full reconstruction, my bearishness on his ADP, anything above 150 is like sound in my opinion.
Right.
So, and he noted that we don't know that, but maybe this indicates. So I am staying fluid to adjusting to new information. And if his return ends up being more progressive, I'm willing to start mixing in more often between 120 and 150 than I was previously. I'm still hesitant because I know that even in a perfect world, if that's right, compensation injuries are 20% higher now. His age isn't great. He doesn't catch passes. So like that production decline can still be there early, but late season, like it can potentially be mitigated. And so I'm trying to be fluid to that, not be take locked to it. Same thing with Hawkinson, like repair versus reconstruction, but we've heard nothing about like him beating that timeline. So I'm not going to move off of that until I hear anything different. Chubb, I'm in like a standby mode. And that would probably be like the most recent adjustment. Otherwise, player take wise, I'm chasing the youth. I'm fading the age. when it makes sense. But I'm chasing like the high end touchdown stuff. I'm cognizant of Cooper Kupp and Adams potentially being on an age decline and might boost up the youth above that, just because we do have evidence that like at that position, at that age, a drop off can be pretty precipitous, and early picks, you should be very proactive about how you're building through. I do have a lot of Mike Evans, guys
I
that
do
have
love
like,
Mike Evans. I mean, he just always delivers for us with his 1,000-yard plus seasons and 10 plus touchdowns, and
Exactly. So, and then I see a comment in the chat about his contract indicating that his contract was his contract indicated a huge salary reduction and a lot of funny money pending incentives. So I think his contract says we are just as uncertain about his return as the doctors are. So everybody's kind of like, and so when they say we have no timeline, I think everybody's like, we truly don't know. And that's what makes me think that makes me think repair or reconstruction instead of just slight repair if you don't know what the timeline is. But maybe they're saying that because like we did a repair and we're just hoping in his age it takes well. I don't know. There's a lot of ambiguity. And I think everybody in the entire situation is in that. That's a lot of words. I know that people just want to start drafting and hearing.
I mean, that's very impressive words and an analysis for after the ranch water stack in a busy day. So I'm super impressed. I gotta say hi to our guy Spread who did the draft with us. I think he got sniped on Lawrence maybe. So let's see if you'll be able to join us for round 2 here, because we are going to be jumping in again. And to people that jumped in for the draft, like Star Kindler, we appreciate you here. So thank you. And I'm going to pull over the good old Underdog. And if you want to jump in with us, I am literally clicking it right now. So
my guess just, they always want to draft with the with like all of the sickos in their room. God forbid they get a normal room.
Yeah. So it was 4 when I clicked it. It's down to 1. So they had a little bit of an opportunity and we filled it. So hopefully we got a few of our guys, a few of our folks in here.
I hope we didn't. Give me some soft fish.
Yeah. Let's see. So we're at the 9th spot. Actually, so you'll have to tell me if you recognize names. I don't.
Star Kindler's in here at the 2. Yeah.
Star Kindler at the 2. I don't see any of the guys that were in with us the draft prior.
I'm okay with that. I recognize Brady Goat 89.
I haven't seen him.
Mike DeVito, but I don't know them personally. So I'm okay with that. I don't need a total friends and family 7th draft of the Friday. Give me a little bit of fish. Give me some value. Give me some stacks.
Again, especially by the way, cheers after we've had some best ball happy hour drinks. I'm with you on that. So.
I mean, I smell Star Kindler ready to do some insane wild stuff. It's in his bones. He can't help it.
Yeah, he said I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. So, all right.
But yeah, no. As far as that goes, I know you've been. I'll just flip the script a little bit. What is there anything that's changed on your end that I should be aware of as we get into this 9-hole draft?
Well, 9-hole, I'm obsessed with Garrett Wilson at the end of draft, so you might have to talk me off of it because I probably need to pump the brakes on my Garrett. I need to be better about evening my exposure in the first round. I was telling Neil early in the draft, obviously if I can get McCaffrey, Lamb, middle, I'm obsessed with Bijan, and late, I'm obsessed with Garrett Wilson. So that's
Bijan.
Yeah, love Bijan. So that's how the first round goes for me. And then pretty much a lot of the same takes, like very high on the Titans as like a value offense. Absolutely obsessed with the 3 quarterback obsession, but obsessed with those quarterbacks I was telling Neil from like that 8th round of honestly 15th round. It is just loaded with quarterbacks. So while I love the elite quarterbacks and see the upside, of course, for all of them, I absolutely love that like 8th through 13th round range too. So
question for you.
Sure.
We picked out of the 11 hole
with Pete. Okay.
When you take Garrett Wilson, how are you handling Josh Allen?
Oh, that's a great question. I need to see my combinations. We are up. Let me check. So we've got at the top
with Brees.
ADP, it's Brees Hall, Puka, Garrett Wilson, Gibbs. I'm going to leave this up to you, my friend.
I'm Brees or Puka. If you're worried about an avalanche, I'm good with Puka, but Brees at 9 feels great too.
I love Brees at 9.
Let's hammer some Brees.
I love it. I love the anchor build is probably my favorite of getting one in the first two.
Well, I mean, the fact that you're getting a discount, like in my head, Bijan and Brees would ideally go within the first 5 picks.
Yeah.
We saw it for a long time. In half point PPR with running backs who are young, get a lot of work, and catch passes. Typically, those guys are like top 5 picks. Wow. And I feel like Star's in a lot of drafts, but that's an ambiguous. I don't know if that's a lot of CD or not. It feels like a lot of CD, maybe. Not a bad thing. But
okay, so we are up next. And with Brees Hall, I absolutely love Drake London.
Let's take a falling London. Taking Brees and London is a lever off of Bijan, both in this room and in week 17. I'm very okay with that.
That's a great point. So did you get Garrett Wilson in your draft with Pete and then talk through?
Yeah, so we took Garrett Wilson and Gibbs, and I was down to say, well, let's do the Garrett Wilson bring back on Josh.
Right.
And there was concern about doing that. So I was just curious, if you're taking a lot of Garrett, are you taking a lot of Josh Allen to correlate that game or no?
I've definitely correlated that game. I need to look at my exposures and see. And I've mentioned this before. We're going to be partnering with Pat Fancy Dog Pound and Best Ball Overlay. So I'm super excited to start using that very soon. That'll help me see my exposures, see the correlations live in the draft, after the draft, talking through. But also, I told him my favorite part is going to be talking through that combination ownership, and something that I know I did not do a good job of last year, and know that I want to do better about this year. And especially as we get here into July and August and trying to even exposures or even the combinations, that's something I want to be really caught. So I can't wait to use that tool to help me. So I don't know off the top of my head what that is, but I mean, I like it. I mean, I don't mind that at all, especially since it's so easy to backstack Allen this year.
Yeah. I think Samuel is my preferred target with Allen, knowing that Kincaid, if he goes on the other side of the board, I say all that to say that, like, I do it with Brees too sometimes, and we're on a spot of the board where Kincaid typically falls back to in the 5th, so it's something I'm open to doing if Allen falls to us in the 4th.
Okay. So you want to obviously push Allen to the 4th at this point. We've got the top of board: Pittman, Laporta, Dell, Flowers, and then Allen. I'm
probably Tank or Zay, and I'm fine with either one. I think Zay is safer, but Tank I think has a higher ceiling.
I was gonna say I like Tank better, if that's okay.
Let's go Tank.
Okay,
yeah,
let's go Tank. I just have been, when Zay Flowers got most of his touchdowns with Mark Andrews out, so I just am a little in this touchdown heavy hunting site. I'm just a little.
I think that's fine.
Mark Andrews, so yeah, that's why I and I'm just love both offenses for sure, but love getting exposure to Houston offense early for sure. So we started Brees Hall, Drake London, Tank Dell, like that start. Let's see what Star Kindler did. CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, Kyron Williams. So
Kyron.
If similar to what you talked about, so you did or didn't get Allen? You did not get Allen in the draft.
Pete was worried about potentially an avalanche room, and then also Allen's been falling, and so we were right at the turn.
Oh, okay. So now, if we can get him here, I assume you'd be perfectly.
Yeah, because one of his hesitation points was, he's falling a bit. BBM is about ADPs, and then also it's hard to stack him up with Kincaid, and at the turn, because he just falls so rarely there at the same time.
All right.
Let's have a fun one. Yeah,
this is fun. You kind of talked it through earlier. Now we get to make it happen. So we start 1-1-2 with Allen, Brees Hall, the correlation, Drake London, who I'm super high on, and Tank Dell. The only unfortunate thing is I do obviously love trying to stack Cousins with Cousins with Drake London. The bourbon might have started to hit, and they both have week 12 buys, but that's the only bummer there. But I don't always have to stack.
Drake London. Yeah, like taking a 0 quarterback hurts your advance rate, but
I don't ever do that.
But if Kirk falls enough,
you could also do a 3 quarterback and then just get a super late.
Well, like 3 quarterback stacked is not a bad thing. You wouldn't want to do it with Josh, but like if you get a discount on Kirk,
right,
and then you get your 3rd quarterback stupidly late, draft allocation wise,
it's the total allocation. That's what
you've mitigated that a bit. You've providing yourself extra stacks for every week of the playoffs. And yeah, I mean, he's in my DMs all the time. How do I not? And then at the same time, by taking an anchor running back, an elite quarterback, and 2 early wide receivers, we've positioned ourselves well from like a structural build. A lot of flexibility to do something like, hey, if we get a falling Kirk value, it stacks up with our wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
We get like a 4% boost in advance rate there. We get about a 4 to 5% hit in advance rate from a 0 week 12 just with a 2 quarterback. So it's pretty neutral there.
Yeah.
And then a 3rd quarterback stacked up boosts it. So like there's ways to mitigate it. It's not all one or the other. And it's just one of those things that like I'm not taking a ton of Jets, and when I do, I want to try to build out the game stack. And I think the most important way to do that is Allen, because Allen under Joe Brady rushes a lot more, and versus the Jets defense, and this is way too in the weeds, but it's something I can't help but think about, is that the solid Jets defense stymies Josh pretty well. And when Josh go Burr, it's really like running and rushing touchdowns. And so if he's having cheaper stacks outside of Kincaid is part of the allure to me in that way.
Well, so do you want to go Kincaid here?
If he falls to us here, I think we played it
a lot,
perfectly to
but
get the stack.
Then we could just hammer a receiver. So
we nailed it. Oh, I did it. I'm so glad. I'm so glad we did it. I'm so glad we talked about it.
I'm going to use a gymnast reference since Neil was talking about it. We totally stuck the landing there, like we got.
What a reference, Megan. What a reference.
So I mean, we get the Allen, Breece Hall, Kincaid all at value basically. So that's the best part about it. So I love it. I love that start. And so let's just look at the receivers based on ADP, since that's got to be our focus and we're only 4 away. Tell me your receivers that you would start queuing up and hammering in these next few rounds. And I'll start queuing. I'm
Godwin, Rome, McConkey, Nuke are definitely my targets. I think rookies
help us. Hopkins. Yeah. Okay.
Rookies help us kind of catch up in the theoretical. But I think Nuke is a way to target a high pass rate offense and someone very talented. So I'm okay doing that.
Because we have 2 picks kind of. Oh, no, this is our break. Okay. So we're at 64 and then we have a long break. So since we do have a long break, who is your favorite? Do you want to go Nuke here, or do you want to?
Nuke goes.
Okay. So we have 12 and 14 bye week. It's Godwin, Odunze, Ladd, Thomas. I queued up.
I think I'd rather take Rome for the talent and the rookie upside.
Okay.
I think that's the way to play it. I don't think you catch up by chasing slightly dusty volume guys, especially like Godwin going to the slot's going to help his efficiency, but with Canales leaving, you have to be worried about the pass rate.
Right.
And with Odunze, you get an unknown at the quarterback and an unknown at the wide receiver, and the range of outcomes there, I'd rather chase when behind with 2 early detours there.
Yeah.
Than going like dependable veteran, because I can find a very similar bet in Jacoby Myers, 7 rounds later, in my head.
Right. No, I totally get that. And we were talking through, of all the Bears receivers, I have the least of Odunze. And again, I do want to balance that exposure. So let's get me another Odunze share, because I do not have enough of it or much of it yet. So I like that. I like our start, Tyler. I like this. Let's see.
This is fun.
Yeah. Let's see what Star Kindler does here after starting Lamb, Waddle, Kyron Williams, Jaden Reed, Terry McLaurin, and he got Ladd. I like Ladd. We took Neil and I had Ladd in the last draft. So coming around the corner, a little run on the rookie receivers in that round. So I assume at 81, 88, we have 3 receivers through 6 still, which is good considering we did do 3 detours. But who do you want to queue up in this range?
I mean,
you have Keon Coleman, but we do also already have Allen stacked. I know you and I are.
Yeah, I prefer Samuel over
forcing big stacks, but
I prefer Samuel over Coleman given their profiles.
Yeah. Okay, so we're up in 4, and the top of the receiver board is Keon Coleman, JSN, Jamison Williams, Cortland Sutton, and then Curtis Samuel. So
I don't love any of these guys. Is anyone following at running back?
Sure. We've got David Montgomery. You got a little value there.
Yeah. So like the thing with Brees too is he can be a little sporadic. I know part of that was definitely injury related, but the Jets are kind of a circus organization.
Montgomery just went. What are your thoughts? Aaron Jones and I love Najee.
It's not fun. It's not fun, but we probably take a falling Coleman to stack up.
Okay, so no Ramondre or Najee.
I think the fact that Coleman's going to be our wide receiver 4 and it stacks is prudent because he cannot be good, but he can also provide as a rookie receiver. He could potentially provide a couple of spike weeks in the playoffs, and that's all that matters. And so, if he's going to fall there in a range that I'm not really comfortable with wide receiver wise, anyway, I feel like the whole correlation stacking thing is to break out of that like player take consternation. Do I love his price? No, but if he's going to go as the last of the rookie tier here and right on the edge of the wide receiver tier, and we have his quarterback, I would be silly to say I know better and pass him up.
Yeah, and we still got, again, even taking a couple 3 detours, we still got 4 receivers by 7. So we're up again at 88. So we have some flexibility there. I do love Najee. I'm team Felix Castro. I'm with Felix. I do love Najee, especially if he fell to us. And then at the top of the board, you have Cortland Sutton, Mike Williams. I don't think we have to go overboard with the Josh Allen stack and Shakir and Shaheed. So any receiver go? So Najee just went. I'm sorry. Did who go?
Curtis Samuel. He went.
Yeah, I think so.
I wasn't paying attention if he did.
So we're up in where did he go? I just want to bring over the board.
I don't think he's gone yet.
Oh.
I think if you sort by ADP.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, he is there. So do we want to triple stack and maybe done, or do we take Sutton or a running back is the thought, right?
I would probably go Sutton or a running back just because of a rushing Josh Allen.
If we're going to take a running back, I love Jaylen Warren.
Okay, so you're a Warren guy. Okay, I need to get some Warren shares. So
there we go. Let's make the most unique team in your portfolio.
Exactly. It's all about expanding your portfolio, right? And I am a Najee girl. So I know Felix Castro and his 90-some% exposure. Love his loyalty to Najee. I do like Najee. I need to get some more Warren. So this is branching me out, getting some Roma Dunze, getting some Jaylen Warren, and we start 1-2-4-1. With a big old Josh Allen stack, bringing it back to ranks. So I like that. I like it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and we'll be back up at 106. So yeah, good start for me.
The other thing with Pittsburgh running backs is like we have no idea who Arthur and Tallman are really going to use the most.
Mm-hmm.
We just know that they're going to run the ball a lot. We know that they're going to target the running backs a lot, especially if Russ is starting a good chunk of the season. So I think it's pretty prudent to just mix in both guys at a pretty equal rate. Warren is a little bit better in like catch and breakaway run potential.
Right.
And so like in a vacuum, given 40-60 volume, Warren can do more with that volume. Najee's probably the favorite to be the running back red zone guy.
Right.
But again, he used Algier over Bijan for that. So like really and truly, we don't know how they're going to be used week in and week out and season long. And so it's like just both are immense value. Also, welcome ATX Bearcat.
Yes.
On the Fantasy Sanctuary. So I'm glad you followed her here.
That's awesome that you followed over here. Be sure to subscribe because we do 4 live drafts a week. I always have friends of best ball and good friends like Tyler every Friday. Thank you so much for coming over, checking us out. And soon we'll be able to watch Best Ball 24/7. I mean, that sounds like the dream.
The glorious revolution brings Best Ball 24/7. But forget the news cycle 24/7. We've had 20 years of that. We're done with it. Bring on Best Ball 24/7.
He's in. Thank you. We appreciate it over here.
Awesome.
We are on a road to 1,000 subscribers. We'll be announcing some fun other big live streams and giveaways and all that stuff to road to 1,000. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. And lots of fun stuff coming this summer. So Curtis Samuel goes there. A little run on the quarterbacks here. Started Jaden Daniels, Jordan Love, Joe Burrow here in round 9. and then Tyler Lockett, Curtis Samuel, Josh Palmer, and Courtland Sutton, and we are up. So if you want to look at receiver, top of board, ADP, Shaheed, Dubs, Shakir, Williams. Any of those interest you? Or then you got Javonte, on ADP, Javonte, Brian Robinson.
I love some Shaheed, and
I love
the
Shaheed.
position that we need.
Yep. That works.
Shaheed, the position we need.
And then, oh damn, he's another week 12 bye. I was gonna say if we needed a late
Okay, we're not gonna worry about that.
Yeah, no.
Receiver's a place where we're gonna have volume, and if 3 of our first 5, it's okay. We're gonna end up probably closer to 8 given this build potentially, and that's fine because we are going towards a running back room where we could stop at 5, and that buys us an extra position.
Okay, so one of my favorite, if we wanted to look at running back here, I love Brian Robinson, not just a Washington fan.
Love Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
I will not talk you off of that ledge.
So he'd be the one I'd queue. Anybody else you'd queue here in the running back room?
I mean, I'm trying to mix in more Javonte. I don't like it, but I talked to Steph Miller Monday when she was on Fantasy Sanctuary.
Yeah, I watched.
She noted that he should be more efficient the second year removed from the double ligament. He started kind of get his juice. Peyton expects that, and so even if it's a 3 running back committee, which I don't love for like beating ADP or providing huge spikes, this running back room should see a lot of targets, should see a lot of work. I'm worried about the touch allocation. I'm worried about the scoring efficiency and play volume with a rookie quarterback 5, but if they target the ever-living hell out of the position and he's the goal line guy, give him spikes.
Okay, so did you convince us to take Javonte? Because our guy Brian Robinson went 1.
Let's take a peek at receivers.
Okay,
would be my one thing.
Okay, so on ADP it's Mitchell, Myers, Brandon Cooks. He'd probably be my favorite.
I'm okay with Myers here for buying us some positional leverage, bye-week leverage, and I think he belongs about here anyway. There's no reason for him to go.
He's another one that I don't take really much of.
Well, there we go. We avoided taking a player you didn't like by taking a player you don't have enough of.
Exactly.
Isn't that the glorious outcome?
Now, do you stack any Vegas receivers, or do you just ignore the quarterback position? Do you ever stack? I mean, it's spread does do a lot of. He likes Aiden O'Connell to be the starter. I like Gardner Minshew. I don't know. What's your take on do you just not stack the Vegas quarterback situation?
I don't see any reason to do it this early.
Yeah, we can wait. And get
we have the least clarity on that quarterback room.
Mm-hmm.
I can see both sides to it. I concede that AOC showed some promise, had some fantasy spikes, and is the incumbent with a coach that kind of rewards vet incumbents. That said, they did pay a guy who has filled in at a decent level on 2 different teams, and neither one advanced metrics wise is really any good. They are almost the same player for efficiency and turnovers and sacks. That said, one of them is like a 5-year veteran. One is a 2nd-year quarterback. So at this point, I have not garnered any true news hounding. I have seen 0 separation of the 2.
Yeah, no, it seems like it's a total competition in camp.
Yeah. So and much like Pittsburgh, whoever starts week 1 is not the favorite to start all season, at all. Right. I think they probably get more leash than the Pittsburgh quarterback. But how much leash that is for a first-year full-time head I don't know, right? So I'm not taking either one unless I truly get boxed out, because I also don't think either one provides a very good quarterback ceiling. Neither guy really topped 14.5 PPR.
Right, they're not adding a ton of value to.
Yeah, neither one rushes that much. You're hoping for touchdown efficiency spikes on a team that says they want to run the ball a lot. They want to feed their running back when they're winning 20 plus times a game. That doesn't sound like a recipe. Minshew was valuable in Indy because they were with a team that had a high pass rate and a lot of RPOs. Yeah. So I also am mindful that you have to adjust down your expectations for Minshew in a new offense with potentially less efficient volume.
Right.
So like, yeah, I'm not targeting either quarterback. I see both sides to it. I'd rather not take either one this early unless I get boxed
I
out.
don't think I have much yet either.
I just don't see much value to it. It's kind of like, like with Howell and Jacoby and May and Jacoby Brissett this year, like you see the value in the guy that has the rushing volume and the passing volume.
Right.
That doesn't really describe either guy, so I just don't know if either one's truly valuable in 18 rounds. On 20 rounds, on drafters, I'm taking shots on AOC and Minshew when I get boxed out.
Right.
But I think the better lever to pull is one of the Pittsburgh quarterbacks at that point.
Sure.
Personally.
So we're up in 1. Eckler's there. Not sure your thoughts on him. A little bit of a couple of picks value. Charbonnet, Kendry Miller at the top of the running back board. And then you still have Brandon Cooks there.
I think we can take running back or tight end here.
So we got Schultz, Freiermuth, Komet at the top of the.
Let's see running back, and then we have.
And then you got Eckler,
Warren,
Charbonnet.
Brees.
Yeah, so we have Warren, Brees, and no, that's all we have. So
yeah, I prefer Charbonnet.
Okay, that's why I queued him up, and I'll switch it. So
yeah, I think Charbonnet is the play here.
Okay. So we got there we got 3 running backs. So we got a 1-3-6-1. I talked about how starting 1-3-5-1's my favorite. We're close to that, and I like that. So we started Josh Allen, Brees Hall, Jalen Warren, Zach Charbonnet, Drake London, Tank Dell, Rome Odunze, Keon Coleman, Shaheed, Myers, Kincaid. So got a nice little Josh Allen double stack with Brees Hall, and we still got 3 running backs, and we're up in 4. So I left running back, tight end queued if you want to, consider any of these. Eckler, Kendry Miller, Nick Chubb.
I mean, if Eckler falls back here, he correlates with our Atlanta pick.
He does correlate with the
yeah, and I can't say no at that point just because of the contingent value. I don't love it, but at that point, he's basically the same thing as a contingent bet. And if anything happens to Brian Robinson, he can be bad and still just get all the volume. And
I just think the one nice thing about Washington, as opposed to some other running back rooms, is it really is just these 2 guys. So I think you're still getting some standalone value with Eckler, and then the contingent value upside is huge. So
I'm fine with it.
Okay, great. I like it. So I'm going to queue up. Let's see where Kirk is right now. So ADP is 148. And we were looking for falling value, especially, and we're at 150.
Yeah, I think we can be comfortable pushing him because, we've got.
So if we didn't stack him, what other quarterbacks would you potentially want to stack with our guys that we have in play? With London, Odunze, a lot of these guys are gone. Shaheed, you could do that if you didn't do Cousins, Myers, we talked about that's not an option. So, or any others that you'd like to backstack in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, this to me screams you're either going to falling value in Kirk and then buy yourself an out, or you backstack one of Drake May, Bo Nix, or you say he's got a week 12 bye, I'm taking Justin Fields, and then just rolling elite quarterback and because we took him in the first 4 rounds, so we can say Josh Allen gets us there most weeks, and Fields takes the starting job in the final weeks, and we roll with that. Like that's also very viable because these top Hurts and Allen allow you quite a bit of leeway
with the floor ceiling combo.
Yeah.
I mean, Fields would make me a little nervous just in case, in case he's not obviously in play week 12. It could be the same as taking a 0. That would be my only.
Yeah, I know.
Just that. I mean, there are other quarterbacks you could potentially backstack, like Levis and Chig, Young and Jatavion Sanders. Though,
I'm open to that. One of the reasons why I kind of wanted Nuke, but we got sniped on him. So what are you gonna do?
Right.
But yeah, you got the Chig outs. So yeah, I'm open to all of that.
Henry, Drake May,
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, you've got Javon Baker and Henry and Gibson late, so there's options.
Right. Yeah, no, there's some nice. I was just queuing up some of those tight ends that I like to backstack guys with, just to give options. Again, it's just kind of to keep an eye on. So we are up in 5 picks with a 1-4-6-1 at this situation, wanting to push Kirk. Do you like none of these guys? That's obviously too early. The top of the receiver board, Roman Wilson is one of my favorites. And it does correlate to Steelers, obviously. There's Jermaine Burton, Rashad, though he's a week 12. We have a lot of week 12s. Bateman and Wandell are the top of the receiver board. And the top of the running back board is Jalen Wright, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Vidal. And then
how many week 12s do we have at wide receiver?
At wide receiver, we have 3 of 6 are week 12. So we probably don't want another one if possible, if we can avoid it.
I'm okay finishing tight end out here and then buying us an extra draft slot.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, absolutely love Hunter Henry.
Sorry, Pops.
Are you
trying to move out of the way and you knock down the stack? Yeah, I think Henry here makes a lot of sense.
Okay, perfect.
Because it also buys us a quarterback back stack and it allows us to be done at tight end.
Yep. So we were done at tight end with Kincaid and Henry. I think that's really nice to be done there with those two. And then, yeah, I'm going to also queue up Drake May as well. So let me take out the tight ends, leave Kirk and May. And then, yeah.
I think we can, I think we can keep pushing. The Kirk value is more of like a multi-round discount.
Right.
Since we do have Drake London. And the Bijan drafter has...
Let's see, the Bijan drafter.
I saw Herbert and AR. So I think we try to push Kirk a full extra round or two.
I did see where the Pitts drafters right next to us. They took Hurts. So and they took
Hurts and Stafford. So I think I'm very comfortable pushing Kirk.
Okay, let's give that a try. And then we're coming up at 160, and we're probably looking then. Either running back or we're done at tight end. So we're looking running back receiver here. Top of the board, you have Chuba, Algier, Gibson, Vidal. Oh, sorry, that's on the rank. ADP, you have McLaughlin, Vidal, Algier, Gibson.
I think Vidal or Algier make a lot of sense. Algier is a top tier handcuff against Bijan and stacks with London. Vidal is a bring back on
the Patriots.
On Henry and a potential big win in a very wide open backfield. So I'm very okay with either.
I'm okay with either too. I'll defer to my guests to make the pick here. They're about the same ADP, getting a little bit of discount. So I'll totally defer to you on this one.
Yeah, because I'm probably usually clicking Algier here, but I feel like we have 2 contingency bets anyway. I'll make myself take Vidal. I like Algier more, but I think Vidal has higher true ceiling without injury. Right? Because Gus is not that good. I don't think J.K. Dobbins does anything much in year 1, at least until like week 8+. And at that point, a somewhat productive or pretty college productive running back from the late rounds, while Gus is nursing a minor injury in camp, but an injury nonetheless at like 30 years old. It makes sense. I could talk myself into Algier, but like he's truly like the purest of pure handcuffs. And we took Brees and we took London and we said we're leveraging Bijan.
Oh, Starkiller warned us he was going to do it. He said he warned us he was going to do it. No, that's fine.
He's not even concentrating. He's drafting a puppy simultaneously.
Did your dog just come into the screen?
Yeah, they came in and left, but
okay.
That's what it was.
What kind of dog do you have?
I was like they dropped a puppy and 3 Schnauzers.
What kind of pup do you have?
I have 2 great Pyrenees mix.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to think. I wish I would have seen him live. I was on the draft screen. I didn't get to see their appearance. They knocked over.
I heard him.
You said your dog ding dong.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, you know what? We're drafting a place that drops puppies all the time. What do you want me to do?
That's true.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's their second stream appearance. I heard I'm getting restless. I was in an all-day meeting yesterday, and then today in a meeting all morning. Barely got to take them out, so I heard I'm getting restless. So I figured I'd let them in. And of course, they just wanted to sit under my desk and then have attention. And of course, I knocked down all my beer cans.
So we are on the clock with ADP of. We're not going to take Dobbins. Herbert.
I think receiver is where we go.
Okay, that's fine with me. And so ADP, you've got Bateman, Douglas. If you wanted to further build out that stack, Marvin Mims, Jalen McMillan, and Baker.
I know I don't have a lot of pop. That's probably the play to stack with Henry.
And then we go for the Drake. Okay,
but I think we're going to take 8 receivers, so he's fine.
Okay, so do you see this being a 2-6-7-2? Is that or a 3-5? Or excuse me, a 2-6.
I think we're looking at just Allen and Drake May at this point.
Okay,
and Josh Allen's buy is late enough that I think we just build out the May stack.
Right. Okay. So now we have 2 stacking partners with May. So thinking like a 2-6-8-2 then. Yeah. So we're looking hopefully May. One more running back.
Because our running backs are what? Brees, Brees, Warren, Charbonnet, Eckler, Vidal. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. So we'll get one more running back, hopefully May, one more receiver. So, yeah, that works for me. And we're up in 2, a little early for May. Receiver at top of the board, we've got Mims, McMillan, Baker, Tez, Walker, Tolbert. Top of the running backs, you've got Dobbins, Herbert, Tracy. Rashad.
I'm probably Herbert or Javon Baker. Baker gives us the Drake May triple stack and helps us corner the market on him. I like McMillan a lot.
I don't have much McMillan. Are you really high on him? Because
but I don't know that we have any. I don't think we have any Carolina or Tampa.
No, but I'm fine kind of just getting a guy that I don't have exposure to.
Fair enough. I love Jalen McMillions, so
yeah, I don't have enough of him yet, and I want to get him in some more.
Star, I swear to God, if you take Drake May, I don't. Who are your quarterbacks? You already what are we dealing with here? Pull up this ding dong.
Let's take a look here. So we have time, I think.
Liam Waddle,
Kyron Williams, Jaden Reed, Terry Ladd, Kenneth Walker, Brock. You got Jordan Love to stack, Goddard, Chase Brown, Marshawn Lloyd, Komet, Kirk Cousins, and Tony Gibbs. So he is.
What are you doing, Star? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're just being a force of. Oh, McMillan. Okay, touche. Okay.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. I was like, if you take May, that makes no sense. Yeah. No, we were choosing between one of our last receivers, McMillan or Javon.
Right.
Maybe we get both.
Right. So yeah, with our last 2 picks, hopefully it's May and then our last running back, our 6th running back. So
you watched my 75. You missed my 75-pound and 110-pound dogs coming in.
Yeah, I missed that. I missed the
distracting me, and then I tried to move out of the way, forgetting I had a stack of beer cans behind me, knocking them over on my record player.
On your record player,
and then scaring my dog with anxiety, and then she had to flee, and then everybody skedaddled.
Well, I'm bummed I missed that. I was on the draft screen, so I missed all of that. I heard it, but I missed it.
You thought I was just bumbling around. She's like, here's jingling keys and a bunch of beer cans, and I don't know if he's.
No, I thought you were talking to a pup for sure. But yeah. So I assume we go, if provided he comes back to us, we go ahead and grab May here at 201 if he comes back to us. Okay, good.
And then I guess. Yeah, and then we get to decide if we like running back or receiver more right there.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. To finish it up. Everything's kind of looking, not seeing anything too wild here. He did get Javon Baker, Star Kindler, that is, got Dortch and Javon Baker as some of his late receivers. So like that. I know you're high on Dortch this year, right?
I have plenty.
Late receiver.
Yeah, plenty as a late receiver who has been since before the draft the slot receiver for the Cardinals.
Right.
And that's been consistent. And then now Kyler is high on him. His efficiency is really good. Yeah, take May, and then we're done at quarterback. And then like it seems like Zay Jones and Michael Wilson are kind of competing for snaps. And the only reason that Dortch was staying off the field was they could mix in Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore is no longer in town.
Right.
Greg Dortch has been a pretty good target earner and pretty efficient versus man coverage against those targets. So, 18th round pick wise, you could do worse.
So these are some of my favorite late round running backs. We're up in 3. Any of these that you like at the top of the board? Roshan. There's also Donta Foreman, Tank Bigsby, Keaton Mitchell, Estime.
I pretty much just see if anybody correlates or stacks, and then if I don't, then it's player takes.
Okay. And then receiver is Chark, Beckham, Hyatt, Rondale Moore.
I think we're good with receiver.
Yeah, I would probably rather running back. So
give me a little scroll of the team real quick. I need to see the receiver.
Yeah, sure. Allen, May, Brees Hall, Warren, Charbonnet, Eckler. Yeah, there's this will help when we have the tool to see it. So 6 seconds.
I think Roshan makes sense.
Okay.
Those other guys have undetermined spots on the depth chart. Roshan had while the team is kind of low on him, he is on the Bears. He's not the likeliest cut candidate.
Right.
And he has a pass catching role. They've talked about running the hot hand. So it's an 18th round pick.
Yeah.
It correlates with Charbonnet.
Yep.
It makes sense.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't do that scroll quick enough. I was
That's
realizing
okay.
it was like 10 seconds.
I thought I got a good feeling of who we already had, but
yeah. And that's why
Roshan's
the best ball overlay will help. We'll be using that soon, and that'll help to see these correlations, make it easier, see my exposure, see all that good stuff as we go through teams, see all that. And then again, as I'm excited to look at my combinations for sure. I want to definitely be
star. I mean, it's not. I think you have to do Rondale.
Yeah, I like Rondale.
He
you got Casey, or excuse me, you got Cousins. So yeah, I like Rondale.
Oh, PPR Tyler noted that Rondale was invited to the Kirk Cousins getaway wide receiver drill camp, blah blah blah, with Cousins.
Oh, okay.
And Casey Washington, no matter how much hype he gets about having good hands, they did trade for Rondale, and it is a Zach Robinson thing. So if he gives you a 2-2 Atwell, 3 spike games, that's probably better than Casey 7th round pick Washington.
I mean, we got some spinning some good wraps here with the Dortch, which is a little bit taller. Then we've got Het 7-Eleven made it into pick 6. So excuse me. So let's take a look at the teams. I need a drink of water because I'm coughing. I don't think it was.
Yeah, take a break. I can vamp for you while you take some water. We had a really good draft. We decided to take the plunge on Josh Allen, Brees Hall, bring back team, and got some nice rookies, and had a good little correlated, well constructed team. Enough rookies and veterans combined. The little 2 tight end action with Kincaid and Henry. Josh Allen stacked up with Coleman and Kincaid. A little Brees Hall bring back. Drake May stacked up with Pop Douglas and Hunter Henry. Got a nice running back room of a lot of veterans and youths. Some fun players with Brees and Charbonnet and Warren. Some upside shots. I love some Tank Dell, Roma Dunze, Rashid Shaheed. I mean, I think texture-wise, just taking shots at rookies, vets, and this is how you kind of dig out of a early detour. I see your pup kind of settling behind you too.
Oh yeah. So that's Riggs, Riggin, a Washington fan named after the great John Riggins. So Riggs, nice. Boxer. That's why you've heard me on Twitter or see me on Twitter asking for a boxer contest. So
right.
Give us the boxer. I mean, that would be, and we need your dog breed again. Say your dog breed again. What's the breed of your dog?
Pyrenees.
Okay, so we need a Pyrenees and we need a boxer contest.
I mean, I told Hope that like point blank when we had her on a few weeks ago. I was like, look, quit disrespecting the Great Pyrenees. We need you need a new big dog tournament, and they are a huge good dog. Come on. Good.
All right,
I am
and then
surprised they don't already have a boxer though. That seems like a top fan favorite.
it's a popular breed. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
I saw somebody, I think it was Jewish McCaffrey, talked about that being like some kind of eliminator knockout 1v1 situation. So it could be like a different type of sport, which makes sense. Boxer knockout. That I totally get it. So yeah, thanks to all our folks joining us in chat, like Hoosier and Het, and we'll review your team. So, and of course, Star Kindler. So we are I'm going to review the teams now. You had an amazing memory as I was coughing and trying to bring up the draft. You memorized our whole team. So that was incredibly impressive. But again, we did the 2-6-8-2 with Alan May. Like you said, the Brees Hall run back, Warren Charbonnet, Eckler, Vidal, Roshan, London, Dell, Adunze, Keon Coleman to add to the Allen stack, Shaheed, Myers, Pop Douglas, McMillan, Kincaid, Henry. You pretty much named it all off the top of your head, but yeah, that's our team. And like you said, I think you went through all the benefits of this team, and yeah, I like it. I like what came in. It's a very different type of draft for me, and got some exposures up on some guys that I do like Adunze and needing more like Warren and Charbonnet and stuff like that. So I like it. Thank you, Tyler, for broadening my horizons here.
That's all we can try to do while we stack up cans on Best Ball Happy Hour.
When we stack up cans. Exactly. Well, let's take a look at some of the folks in the draft with us. Star Kindler did a 2-5-8-3 with Jordan Love. He got Kirk Cousins and did get a lot of falling value there at pick 167. And then Kyron Williams, Kenneth Walker, Chase Brown, Marshawn Lloyd, Antonio Gibson. And he got his CeeDee Lamb shares, Jalen Waddle, Jane Reed, Terry McLaurin, Lad McConkey, Greg Dortch, Javon Baker, Rondell Moore, and Brock Bowers, Dallas Goedert, and Cole Kmet. So yeah, I was able to get that Cousins stack, got that Love stack. Yeah, I like his team a good bit. How do you feel about Star Kindler's team?
If Kirk to Rondale is what you need to win, I quit. I understand value, but like for the love of God, the tiny slot receiver quarterback connection is as thin as it gets. But yeah, the value you get there when you want to stop at two quarterbacks. That's fine.
Yeah, if you're doing two quarterbacks in that value, yeah, no, I like that a lot. So yeah, no, like Star Kindler's team, and then I believe was it Herm in chat that was
711 sick hole.
Okay, thank you. He was.
You're welcome.
Got to help each other out here on Best Ball.
Streaming is tough business. The people don't know how much multitasking it takes.
Multitasking, and then you decide to throw in a nice heavy pour of bourbon to.
Yeah, I saw you.
I knew Neil liked his bourbon, and I was like, "Well, I like a good bourbon, so I'll do that for Best Ball Happy Hour." So, anyways, what is your drink of choice? Do you mix it up, or do you? I know tonight you're drinking these.
It's a mood thing.
It's a mood, yeah.
I'm partial to a lot of different drinks. It just depends on where I'm at, what I'm in the mood for, what I'm eating, who I'm hanging out with.
Yes, a lot of factors.
Yeah, not too picky. I my music and my drinks very environmentally and mood focused.
Hoosier says if Kirk to Rondale is what you need, Star Kindler is the only one that's going to be winning.
God, I wish you all bad
he said
luck.
He got sniped on his real stacks. So, but yes, I am a mood thing too. As I get older, there are certain things I don't like. I'm not no beer for me anymore. I don't like it, but I like the ciders, not as much as the seltzers. So I joke that I like a country music song. I like my whiskey and wine. And champagne. I like some good.
I don't mind it. Yeah, I'm not a big beer guy myself.
Yeah,
so I don't blame them. It's just not my palate.
Not my palate. No more beer for this girl. So yeah, I'll stick to the champagne, some bubbles, some wine, some whiskey. So, okay.
Bubbles and Best Ball.
Bubbles. You just came up with a great.
I am a branding extraordinaire. Not to
Tyler
horn here, but
Tyler,
this big name guy.
This is too good. There is definitely going to be okay. So I know you like Sunday brunch shows. We need like some kind of Bubbles and Best Ball brunch.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Mimosa BBM action.
Yeah.
Best Ball mimosas.
Oh my goodness. The wheels are turning. Okay. So from the 6th spot, Het 711 drafted 2673 and got Mahomes, Caleb Williams, like that a lot. Zach Moss, Trey Benson, Ezekiel Elliott, Kendre Miller, Tyler Algier, Khalil Herbert, Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, DJ Moore, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, JSN, Calvin Austin, and Musgrave, Conklin, and Fan. So yeah, Caleb. So Mahomes is stacked up, and Caleb is stacked up. And I have to dive a little closer. I'm sure that he's got some bringbacks as well. But structurally, I like this team a lot. What do you think about Het's team?
I mean, at the end of the day, if you hit your structure and you correlate and stack, that's as best you can get. We can all argue about player takes, but the second an injury or some chaos hits, you just want to draft well, correlate well, stack well, and let the cards fall where you may. Like that's all you can do.
Right. So I like his team a good bit. So I believe those were the only two. Like we said, we didn't have too many in chat with us today. We have plenty in chat, and thank you for joining us in chat, and thank you for watching. Be sure to like this episode, subscribe to the Fanspeak Network. We have 4 live drafts at minimum. We're on a road to 1,000. Going to have a lot more fun live streams. Maybe, we've got a bubble stream coming. I don't know. Tyler's going to help me with bubbles. Tyler's going to help me with branding, but no, we've got a lot of fun stuff coming on this channel. So we really appreciate it, but no, this was a fun draft. Any final thoughts for the people here, Tyler, before we get out of Best Ball Happy Hour?
No, this is part of the beauty of drafting with other people. You get to kind of differentiate and change up your portfolio and your combos. And I think in a tournament like this, it's very important, especially this early on. So this is a little bit of a different team for me as well. Because I have a hard time drafting Austin Eckler. So I think this is the value of drafting with people.
Mm-hmm.
You get a little bit of liquid courage running through you, and all of a sudden, you're just following the guidance of week 17 is all that matters. Correlate, stack, let the cards fall where you may. Draft with friends, because the friends we make along the way is truly the expected value we add. Had a great time. Megan, as always, thank you so much for having me on. Folks that follow me over here know this, but for those that didn't catch, Fantasy Sanctuary is where I stream and draft with Tom Strachan and Rich that does all the Dynasty content, Dynasty redraft, best ball. We just had Pete Overzet on for our happy hour, and then after he and Tom left, I ripped a bunch of 10-second schnauzers. We have 2 giveaways going for 2 Best Ball Mania entries. Cash Monet in your hand if you comment BBM Drizzy on our Pete Overzet and Schnauzer stream video today, as well as the Best Ball getting to know Best Ball introduction video. For those new to the format or that would like a refresher, you comment BBM Drizzy on either of those stream videos, you're entered into our giveaway at the end of this week for a free Best Ball Mania or 8.3 mini Schnauzer entries. Whatever you do with that money is your business.
Your choice.
And other than that, we'll just be streaming on Fantasy Sanctuary all summer with a bunch of awesome guests like Surplus of Cash and John Daigle and many more than I can remember right now. As my stack, what do you want from me, people?
The
I don't have the list.
Stack is impressive. Are we up to 5 there?
We're up to 5. Definitely could have done more, but
I like it. I'm impressed. Quick question: I don't believe there was any JSN injury. Maybe you just got some really nice value there today. I haven't seen any. I've not seen anything today, but yeah, and he liked Hoosier liked your Sunday name, My Love of the Bubbles, but the Best Ball Bubbles, and we're glad you made it as well. Be sure to subscribe to check out
Hoosier. Love when you can join anything in the community. So you definitely like and subscribe to this channel, Megan and everyone that streams here. Andrew and the Sibling Showdown. A lot of fun stuff, a lot of good drafts, a lot of good talking about players, about game stacks, about game theory. And if you're one of those sickos that wants 24/7 best ball content, then you need to add this channel to your repertoire because I'll be back drafting some fun, boozy teams. So,
I love it. I love it. I mean, can I hire you as my salesperson? Are you in sales?
I will not say no to any opportunity until I get to see.
You got to be in sales. Did I guess your day job correctly? You're good. You're good. Sales or marketing? That's what I'm doing.
My day job would surprise you.
Okay. All right. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm in the wrong career is what I'm trying to say.
Well, no, this has been super fun. Again, Tyler summed it up perfectly. But again, please check him out on Fantasy Sanctuary and all their amazing content. He'll be back on this channel, I'm sure. No doubt about that. We have a lot of fun stuff coming, so be sure to like and subscribe. And no doxing allowed.
Yeah, I did enough doxing on the mini Schnauzer Pete stream.
Okay. So, but yeah, no, be sure to like and subscribe here. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming on the road to 1,000 subscribers here on Fanspeak Network. So thank you guys so much. For Tyler, I'm Meg, and we will see you next time.